We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable that we are actually live right now, gamers. Welcome to PM in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM, the place to be Thursday nights. Of course, we are going an hour late tonight, so thank you all. If you adjusted your schedules, if you're still showing up, or if you have to listen to us later because we are starting an hour later, we totally understand as well. Again, as you all know, with me and Mav, one of us is going to have real life stuff popping up at some point. So that's what happens. So, but we are here and we are excited to talk to you. I am, because I know personally I'm having one hell of a week, and talking some games will be good for the soul tonight. Yeah. And I've got one of my favorite people with me in the entire world, my brother from another, the one, the only Fun Speculation, aka Mav, with me. Mav, I know you've had a bunch of shit going on, weren't feeling well this week as well, on top of everything. But man, how the hell are you? How's your week been, and what you been up to, man?
Good, man. I had a nice chill day yesterday. Actually, stayed up I think I pretty much stayed up almost all night. Playing games, actually streaming, and just guys in the Zen mode with Power Wash Simulator. But then, today between work stuff and, things happened, we had to go late tonight. So this is on me today, guys. Apologize. But yeah, man, just been trying to, I didn't feel well earlier this week. Stress sometimes can affect you physically, I've found out, right? With work and stuff. So it's headaches and things like that, but I'm good and ready to talk some games, dude. I had actually missed Monday's show so much that I went live and did this impromptu stream on Tuesday night, because I felt like it had been so long since I talked games. I haven't been able to be on Boom Show on Xbox Factor in a couple weeks now, and I'm missing that as well. But yeah, other than that, man, I've just been playing and grazing a lot of stuff and having some fun, bro. We haven't got to talk that much this week at all, dude. Have we even spoken to each other this week, at all? Besides a little bit in DMs, here and there.
Not even, barely in DMs at all.
DMs, it's crazy, man. We literally, right before we got live, we were here talking for 2 minutes. This is the least amount me and Pong have actually spoken to each other, I think, in over a year and a half or so. Pretty mind-blowing, but it's awesome that we can sit here and get to catch up and do this show, dude. It means a lot to me that you have this captain seat and you take the time to do this every week. It means a lot to me, everybody in the chat hanging out, taking the time to do this every week. And that reminds me, I want to, before we go into the topics later, I want to touch on something as well, but about appreciating your audience and stuff, I saw some pretty shitty stuff,
Whoa. Okay. What I missed? You're gonna have to fill me in here, brother. So.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name any names, but
okay. Okay. All right.
Before we get into that though, how the hell have you been, man?
It's been one of those weeks, man. So again, I feel like I say that a lot, but unfortunately, that's just where everything is at right now. I keep thinking things are going to slow down a little bit, and they don't. They just ramp up even more. But before I get into my week, I've been saving this one all day long because I thought it'd be more special if I did it live. And the fact that he even showed up in the chat right now.
I'm just now finding this out.
Oh, man. He shares a birthday with my dad, so I can never forget it.
Wow.
So a big shout out to our brother from another, the one, the only, Mr. Live, Raw, and Uncut, Mr. Steel Rain, of course, turning the big 3-0 today. No longer a 20-year-old, no nothing. He is now a wise old man. He will be practicing that every Saturday on Living Split Screen with me. He will no longer try to act like he's the younger one. He is catching up to me slowly but surely. But happy birthday, brother. Thanks for showing up here. I didn't know if you'd show up tonight or not, but man, big happy birthday to you, man. You know that. Go ahead.
Happy birthday, Steel. We both absolutely love you, man. You're one of a kind, dude. Happy birthday, man. It's awesome. I just now finding this out. I've been kind of absent from Twitter today and stuff as well. So yeah, happy birthday, man. Welcome to the adult club.
Finally, you're out of your 20s, brother. So again, yeah, no, big shout out, all love and respect. You know what it is, my friend. And I'm so happy that I could wish you a happy birthday live on the air. So as far as my week goes, again, outside of being busy, real life stuff, I did get a little bit of gaming in this week. I am 100% rocking and rolling in Borderlands 3, as I've been saying for weeks. That's going to be a common thing now. After I deleted NBA 2K22, Borderlands 3 has taken over that spot. But I also finished off As Dusk Falls. I finally finished book 2, got a chance to sit down and roll through it. And my God, just absolutely adore that game. I posted it on Twitter that I rolled credits. And I also posted that I hope that Xbox has greenlit a number 2, if not DLC, for this game, because this needs more. Absolutely love this game. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Totally get it. Not going to sit here and tell you have to like it, but I would tell you, if you have not given it a chance yet, please, even if you do it through the cloud, because it's the perfect game for the cloud, please do that and see if the story grabs you. Because again, book 1, book 2, absolutely both rock solid stories. I couldn't pick a favorite one, but got to the ending and I wanted more. There's a couple different reasons for that. No spoilers. But just in terms of how much I enjoyed it from the beginning to the end, can't be overstated for that style of game, for that type of game. And so again, shout out to Interior Night. They've got big things on the horizon. That is a fantastic team, especially the writing team, the actors that they got, just absolutely top notch. So I did do that. And then I actually bought a game. Again, budget gamer here. Yeah, budget gamer.
What did you buy, Pong?
It was on my wish list. It's been one that I've been watching. I've actually watched people play it on PC over the past year and a half, found out when it was coming to console, and I was super excited. Made a post the other day about some of the single player games I was excited about. So I went and picked up RimWorld. And this is a colony builder strategy game. They call it a story simulator, which I can see why. Jez, a shout out to Jez Gordon, of course, from Windows Central, did a fantastic review on the game. But this is one of those PC games that people never thought would come to console. And this is a game that people over on the PC side have put thousands of hours into it. Again, it's not going to be a game for everybody. Let me just put that out there. But what the developers did to bring this game from keyboard and mouse, a complex game, and turned into an actual realistically very capable controller style game is second to none on this. I'm just getting into it. I didn't pick it up on the first night at launch because if you ordered the deluxe edition with the royalty DLC, you got early access. It actually officially launches on the 29th tomorrow. But I did pick up the deluxe edition because I wanted the royalty DLC, which gives you, it's hard to explain, but this different kind of group of people meet up and you wind up getting psychic powers for some of your people, whatever the case may be. So I jumped into it last night, and it is going to be a time sink. I am slowly but surely learning the mechanics. They have a small tutorial section, which gives you the basics, but there's so much to this game. It's unbelievable, but it is fun as hell. Graphics are simple. Think of Prison Architect and those type of games. That's the types of graphics you get. You don't control all your people individually. You can take control of them to do certain tasks, but otherwise they're kind of on their own. They all have their own individual personalities. Jez wrote this up in his review, and he's absolutely correct. You'll be hard pressed to come across two different of your colonists that are even similar in any way, shape, or form, because they give them so many different characteristics. It's unbelievable when you start digging into it. So super fun game. You're going to die a lot. You're going to lose your colony. I'm playing on permadeath mode, so that if I lose a colonist, I can't go back to a save, but they do have a mode where you can go back to a previous save and just start again if you make a mistake. Man, I can't wait, man, to keep diving into this game. So again, it was on my wish list. I pulled it. The deluxe is 54. Otherwise, the regular edition is $40.
Okay.
So the regular edition, not too bad. Again, the DLC, I read up on the DLC, watch people play a little bit on the PC with it. Most people say it's worth it. They're going to sell it separately. So even if you don't pick it up front and you wind up loving the game and you want it, you can pick it up. It's going to be about $20, I think, separately. So you get a $5 break if you bought the deluxe edition plus the early access. So like I said, I wanted it all, so I picked it up that way. But yeah. So that's what I started last night. And like I said, I can't wait to dive in more.
You know what I started
again,
last
I'm
night,
happy.
Pong?
What'd you start?
Pathfinder.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, gotta tell me, I've almost pulled the trigger literally probably a dozen times.
Bro, yes. it's like Neverwinter Nights and Baldur's Gate like brought to console in a fantastic way. It's like it doesn't sacrifice anything.
The only thing is crashes.
I haven't had
loss of saves, game-breaking bugs. And I've read the current reviews. They say they still have never been fixed.
Really?
So you're gonna have to tell me how it is. Yeah.
I started playing on the PS5 because I guess they gave it to me for free at some point on PS5, like with one of the PS Plus perks or something. Nice. Because I noticed it in the Ultimate Game Sale. I was like, what is this? Because I've been checking out different games in the game sale. Like I said, I played that Disciples Liberation, which is absolutely fantastic. I was playing. I got Tales of Arise. And I started playing that, which is absolutely fantastic. And I noticed Pathfinder for like $5, and I was like, "Yo, what is this? How have I I've seen it all the time, but I always just skip over it. I didn't really understand what it was." And then I noticed when I was on PlayStation looking through some of the games on there that in my library, I was like, "Whoa, shit! I already have that game. I've never even touched it." So I actually started playing it on there. Graphics are pretty solid. It's got voice acting. It's got like a good story so far. I'm really early on. I pretty much played like the main intro sequence, right? Yeah, dude, like it's got you can do either turn-based or live combat or real-time combat. But yeah, like they don't really sacrifice too much. Even the created character, it feels like it's a D&D game, but it's not. You know what I mean? Entirely. But yeah, I was pretty impressed with it. I haven't come across that stuff yet. I will be really pissed off if I spend too much time on it and get deep and then I lose all my progress, So that's what now I'm afraid of that. But I saw a lot of positive reviews from the Xbox and the feedback thing, so I'm hoping that it's a rare instance, but yeah, dude, I was enjoying that. The Tales of Arise, like I said, is absolutely awesome too. But I've been like just game hopping,
You're playing like me. You're grazing.
That's well, unless I start Power Wash Simulator, then I just get sucked in.
You're like me in that aspect. You always have been. So again, you've played. I mean, again, on your history of your Xbox, I think you have. You were actually a little bit ahead of me. I think in total games played overall on Xbox. So I know you're a grazer, man. That's the way we are always going to be. You don't finish games like I do.
You know who I heard talking about becoming a grazer recently? I think this was on XNC. Is Gaz.
Gaz, really?
Yeah, he was like. He's like, I don't know what it is, man. All of a sudden, I'm starting playing all these damn games, and like, I just keep going game to game to game to game, and I don't know if I can ever go back now. And I was like, that's freaking hilarious, man. It sounds like us. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys freaking rock. We got 41 people here, and we're starting an hour late. It's awesome, man.
It is. That's incredible. Like I said. No, I actually haven't. You know what I did? I did re-download though, and what's funny is after the news today. Kind of happy I re-downloaded it because I was expecting a Darktide coming out this year. I actually re-downloaded Aliens. Fireteam Elite. Yep, nice. I actually re-downloaded it and fired it back up again because they've done a lot of updates since we last played together. And I want to check it out a little bit. And it's looking fantastic. It's running fantastic. Obviously not the same experience playing by yourself by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still a cool game. And I just got in the Aliens mood. And I had to hear this because, again, that game is just, it took everything from the movie sound wise and atmosphere wise and did it right. And again, you can say what you want about that game. Not everything's great about it. but man, did they nail that part of it.
Mhm.
So it's just fun hopping in the Aliens universe.
It's gotten
So,
more content, I think, since
download.
it came out too, hasn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
Yes. It got new gameplay modes. It's got new content. It's got a bunch of shit. I still haven't beat the main campaign yet. So a lot of it's still locked for me. No, we never went back. Remember?
We
never went back.
I finished
You
it with
did.
Jasper and
yes, you did with Jasper, of course. Actually, Jasper, he got you, pulled you through that one, but you and I never went back to it again. So
yeah, that's true.
That's been about it, man. Again, I don't have as much time. I'm at the gym now, so I've got my schedule turned back around. So I'm hitting the hay by 10:30 at night. So not a whole lot of time when I get home from work. So I've just been kind of chilling out and waiting for some more stuff to come out. Like I said, RimWorld was one I had my eye on, and I didn't know if I was going to pull the trigger. And then I actually went through all the games coming out over the next few months and kind of laid them all out. Because like I said, in my tweet I posted about, said tough decisions are going to be made. So I started looking at things and I was like, God, what am I going to buy? And I'm like, I've got until next month. Next month isn't that heavy. It's got a couple good hitters in there, but then I'm like, I got at least 2-3 months before we get really rolling, and then I'll make some tough decisions. So I bought RimWorld.
So in RimWorld, is there like different jobs you can assign your colonists to and stuff like that?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. You control their whole work pattern. Right. Nav, so and then some of them will refuse to do certain things. Like some of them are non-violent.
So you mean some of them refuse a rim job?
Yeah, some of them refuse a rim job. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And then it's the randomness of the world that's so cool. And again, you can adjust the settings up and down however you want to, but it's just freaking amazing the stories that are being told. Because again, most of your colonists, you can dictate a little bit what they do, but for the most part, they're just doing. They go about their day. I had this. I'll just give you a quick example. We'll move on. I didn't realize when I was, because you can randomize your colonists. You can pick which ones you want. You can keep hitting the random button and try to get something that's going to fit in with your needs. But you're never, with 3 colonists, you're never going to get all your needs met. Yeah. So you got to give up sacrifice. Well, anyways, I wasn't paying attention to that. I was looking at their stats in different areas like hunting, planting, cooking, medicine. I was watching the stats. I wound up choosing this lady who was already 75 years old when she landed.
Whoa.
Bro, all of a sudden I'm playing and I'm just setting up. Like I'm just starting to get things going, clearing shit out, building some walls and stuff, picked out my spot where I'm going to live, start my colony. And all of a sudden I get a notification and it says, I think her name was Majo. And Majo is confused. I'm like confused. And then she's wandering off the screen. So I pull it up and it gives you a descriptor, right? So you can pull it up and it goes, Majo is confused due to dementia.
Wow.
I'm like, you fucking kidding me? So everyone, so she just ran off. And then after a period of time lapsed, she fell asleep in the forest by herself because she was lost.
Oh my God.
And then she woke up, right? The next day, my 2 other colonists are doing their thing. Next day she wakes up. Well, then her confusion goes away and she comes back to the colony.
Right.
And then starts doing stuff. And she's my best scientist too. So she's supposed to be doing all my research. Yeah, that's freaking fantastic. She's in the middle doing research at the research table. And the research bar is going up.
Starts wandering off into the forest.
Then all of a sudden Majo is confused. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me right now. So it's just the crazy stuff like that. I had a hare attack me, rabbit go wild attack me, I had a rat attack me out of the blue. It was insane. And I had some actual like pirates show up and attack me. They got it was low. It doesn't, you can put it on the death level and like you'll get attacked by mobs right away. I got attacked by one pirate dude. And I already had traps set, which worked out perfectly. And I lured them into my building and my people took them out. But it's just crazy stuff like that. It's a really cool game. Again, not going to be for everybody. Graphics are nothing. I mean, again, it's basic graphics. But again, there's a reason why this game is so highly rated over on the PC side, why there are people literally with thousands of hours in this game. It's just pure fun if you like that sort of game. And I do. Yeah. So I was looking forward to this. So yeah, that's been my week. But yeah, it's crazy what can happen in that game. All right, Matt, let's get down to business here, shall we?
Well, before we get into the topics, I got something to say.
Yeah, you have something to say. That's right. Treating your people right. Yeah, go, man. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I said this on a stream. I said this also on like the little random show thing I did on Tuesday night. So I try to make sure I don't come across too like harsh or whatever, but I've seen this before and stuff, but this was so blatant because there was like this new streamer that I started kind of keeping an eye on. I thought they were doing great, you know, so I started following and stuff, and you know, I started watching their content and stuff, and you know, they're doing fantastic, way better than, you know, even I am or anything like that, right? But like, it was like, wow, you know, it's great, entertaining, all this stuff, and then I saw a tweet that they made, and it just made me instantly go unfollow from everything. It was just so cringeworthy. I just couldn't stand it. And as somebody who's like tries to do YouTube and all this stuff, and you know, we have our shows and we like do everything, it just like there's just like certain sense of entitlement that some people have, like they expect things from people, right? And I don't get it, man. You know, and there's certain, and I know this also permeates through certain people in the community as well, like that even we may know, right? They feel like, hey, you know, you have to do this, otherwise you're not supporting me or whatever. And that's like, that's BS, right? Let me tell you this, right? Anybody who ever even takes 1 second to come and hang out and watch a minute of our content or a second of our content, like, share, subscribe, any of that stuff, none of it is ever expected. Okay. It is only appreciated. I made a tweet about this the other day because it just bothered me so much when I saw that. Like I said, I instantly unfollowed. They said something to the effect of like, you know, if you stop by, don't pretend like you've been supporting from the beginning. Following is different than supporting. And I was like, what? Like, and I'm like, whoa, like you coming out and like chastising people from checking out your content, and like, even if they've been lurking in the background or whatever, watching for a while and just finally start to say something, you know, and come out, and I'm like, are you serious? You come out and saying something like you're not, it's like disrespecting your audience. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. If you never even, there's people that watch our stuff that never interact in the chat whatsoever, right? I don't know who they are. You know what I mean? Occasionally they say hello or whatever. That's cool. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, anybody that ever watches anything, just want anybody to know, like, nothing is ever, when I say, hey, like, share, subscribe, you know, all that stuff, you know, that's like a request, and it's appreciated if you do, but that's not like an expectation of an audience. Like, personally, never feel any lack of support from people just because they have other things to do, choose to watch something else or whatever. Like, it's just appreciate the fact that anybody even takes a second to have anything to do with us, right? And like our channel and stuff. And the fact that there's people out there that don't kind of have that same mentality just kind of bothers the shit out of me, man. Like, I don't know what it is, but I just wanted to get that out and let the whole chat know, guys. We appreciate every single one of you, and like there's all these ways of supporting and stuff like that, you know, but like, that's just an option, you know. And if you come here and say hi and then leave, cool. I'm not upset about that. You know what I mean? Like, you took your time to come here and say hi. If you don't ever say anything, if you even check it out, like, not for me, you move on, whatever. I still appreciate that. Like, I don't understand people expecting like this level of support and stuff. It's, I don't know if it's like a generational thing or whatnot or something, you know what I mean? But like, I've seen it like from different groups in the community, people in the community and stuff, and I've kind of seen it ramp up a little bit recently and stuff, and I don't know. I had to get that off my chest. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, Pong. But
No, I actually have zero clue. You will have to fill me in behind the scenes. That's just goofy behavior. That's weirdo behavior, as Steele calls it. That's goofy. Yeah, that's not right. Again, I think Mav said it perfectly for us, and I think all the shows that I am on, we appreciate you no matter 100%. What. Again, yes. It don't matter, like you said, Mav. If you just pop in and check it out, like you said, it's just not for you.
People
don't
call people
care.
Like fake supporters and shit like that. It's so cringe, dude. Like, I mean, what is that? What is the level where you're like real? You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, we're people like sitting here talking about games, and or whatever we want to talk about. And the fact that people actually are taking the time for whatever to actually spend their time choosing to watch us when they got like 10 other things they could be watching at the same time. You know what I mean? At least, I mean, a million other things, really.
A million other things you could
do I
the whole of the internet, and they choose us.
Right.
That's it.
Like, I mean, come on, like that's a legit and amazing thing, especially when people come back and stuff like that. But like, even if you don't, like, it's still like the fact that you even found us is amazing. You know, like,
it is. Yeah.
So appreciate everybody. You guys rock.
Yeah, appreciate everybody here always. That's why we try to give everybody a shout out. That's why we interact with everybody that we can.
Split differences. I feel like I'm forced to be.
Yeah.
Right
Splend, I don't think your wife agrees, by the way, Splendor for us. Listen, yeah. So by the way, if you're not going to pay my bills and Mav's bills, you guys aren't supporting. So we'll start posting those bills, and I expect to see some Cash App soon.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no. That's the most ridiculous thing ever, Mav. I have no idea what you're talking about, but whoever it was, completely in the wrong. Look, you can say whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you don't look weird or goofy. Okay.
Say what you want to say, and I'll see myself out.
that's some crazy stuff right there.
Yeah.
Wow. You just blew my mind.
Up and coming streamer too, man. Like really blowing up. And it said that. I'm like, fuck, I'm out. You know, nope.
Look, hey, listen, nowadays, people, the internet is forever. We just saw that computer company. What was the name of that computer company just go under? The guys who built computers that he had a huge following that treated one of their people like shit on air. Do you remember that, Mav? That happened like beginning of the year.
Yes.
What's the name of the company? Yeah, remember that? Remember that? Yeah. Somebody won one of their builds, and he went on and said, "Oh, she's got like 500 followers. I'm not giving you a computer." Like, bro. Now that business is gone. They're out of business. They were one of the biggest YouTube custom built PCs out there. I can't remember their name. Damn it. But yeah, you don't treat people like that. You just don't. So again, wow. Some people should not speak. They should learn to keep their mouth shut, even if they're thinking it internally. Listen, everybody here right now listening to this, we appreciate every single one of you. Like Mav said, Andrew Cullinane, Calarie, Doom Reaper, Marlesco, Andy Cruz, the aforementioned Splendor Friss, Tony Grasso, Masshole 1977, RazorNZ, Shane is in the house, Talos Re, the original Next Level Gaming, otherwise known as Brother Mike, is in the house. Good to see you, as always, brother. Alvin, RWK88, Mucho Chucho 7240 is here as well. Who else dropped on here? Siki, of course, dropped on in to say hi. Guardian Black, Kaitlin, appreciate you, Kaitlin. Miss you. But thank you for everything you do, as always, behind the scenes for all of Mav's shows. And don't worry, Mav is not going to take over your spot from making thumbnails or backgrounds. He is terrible. That happened, last week? That was awful. Gerald Mack, great to see you, brother, as always. Who else we got here? Forsaken Ghost. That's right. He's in the house. He changes his names, but I know who you are. Love you, brother. Thanks for dropping in here, man. Stuffed Sean, always good to see you. TK360, otherwise known as Brother Peter, showing up to say hi. What's going on, Peter? Good to see you, sir, as always. Miss doing any shows with you, sir. Jamie Richardson, Ghost Fixter, of course, showing on up in here. We got Mitchie Dies a Lot dropping in here to be the first one to say hi. If I missed any of you, I apologize. Trying to get through that and make sure I got every. Oh, 3-Bit shows up late. Hey, 3-Bit, how you doing? Are you close to the house? Are you close to your house?
To your home.
Guardian.
To your home.
To your home. Guardian Black, how you doing? Great to see you dropping on in here. So, Mav, like I said, we did have some things to talk about tonight. We weren't just going to talk about nonsense. So, listen. Where do you want to start, Mav? Because we had a lot of stuff. You actually went live while I was sleeping the other night. I woke up and I look at my notifications and I got a YouTube from like, I don't know what time it was at. Of course, I'm in bed early now, so everything's late to me. But I was like, why did Mav go live? It doesn't say streaming games or whatever the case may be. And I go look, and here you are talking about some of the things that had already popped up earlier in the week. So I know you've covered a couple things.
Yeah, I was talking mainly about Square and then
Okay.
Aspire and their KOTOR.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, we didn't have a Monday show, and we didn't get to go on Xbox Factor this week, and I was just like, I just fucking want to talk. And it was actually more of like a stress reliever, right? Like sometimes just like, you know, have some fun doing that
get
stuff.
Off your chest.
So, you know, I just went ahead and went live. Appreciate everybody tuning into that stream. And yeah, so we started talking about some of that stuff. We can dive into that, or we can start with GTA 6 or whatever. But like, I think the first things that happened this week was KOTOR and Square's news, which the Square thing was really interesting to me, especially.
Yeah, the Square stuff was really interesting. Let's talk a little bit about it. We won't, I mean, because you already kind of covered it earlier this week, but let's talk a little bit of, you know, again, just kind of get our basis for this week of what's been happening. So obviously, I think most people at this point know that an article came out concerning Square and their treatment of their former Western devs and how that kind of all went down and why the price was so low. So there was a lot to go over here. So obviously, Crystal Dynamics Eidos Montreal was sold earlier this year for $300 million to Embracer Group. Obviously, most people know that by now. We always said, Matt, the crazy part about this article is that when we sat in Speculation Town, starting like over a year ago, last year, we were talking about everything. This article and these articles that came out in the interview with one of the former leads over there.
It was the former founder of Eidos Montreal.
Eidos Montreal, yeah. Totally confirmed everything that we had speculated about, that we thought from the outside, just being a satellite view, just being gamers, not running $1 million companies.
Sometimes things are what they seem. Right. Sometimes
they are. And that was the funny part to me. I was just reading this and I'm going, oh my, we talked about this like a year and a half ago. This is spot on. So basically what came out, and I'll paraphrase, is that Square never respected their Western studios. That their Western studios, when they brought them in, they were not even given any type of grace period. They weren't afforded any time to go ahead and get their feet wet, to get settled in. Out the gate, Square was on them. And what we always said was that Square was using them, or trying to use them, to fund their Japanese developers in a lot of ways. And a lot of what the former founder Eidos Montreal had to say was exactly that. They were charging them $65 million a year, whether or not they made a game, like some crazy number.
Yeah, they said that when the financials were sat down for the financials or whatever, a meeting, and they told them that, hey, our studio lost $65 million this year when there wasn't even a slated game set to come out that year. Right.
They put them in a hole, right? Because again, they were trying to use them as a bankroll, everything else. That's why they were always disappointed in the former founder, I forget his name offhand. If you remember, Matt, please jump in. But he was talking about how the disappointment, the constantly being told we're disappointed, hearing that constantly in public and behind the scenes, treated with zero respect.
Stefan Diastis.
Thank you very much. Bringing up concerns and trying to get an answer from upper management at Square Enix and being flat out ignored. All communication attempts being flat out ignored.
Yeah.
Everything down the line was exactly what we said. They, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And again, whether it's cultural differences,
right?
it caused stress for the devs.
Stress for the devs, and devs were like, hey, like what's our answers? What are we supposed to do about this? You know, like we and then so that causes stress for the high ups, and then they're trying to get answers from, you know, the actual corporate or higher ups, and then they don't get any answers back, right? And they said that part of this is why he actually slip in this, is that part of this is why IO wanted out of Square. Like IO got themselves out.
Same thing.
Right.
Same thing.
And then you know, he had left around that time. The Eidos Montreal founder, it seems like a lot because of this stuff, right? And he also kind of went to say that, like, he doesn't really it seems that the way he came across is that Square kind of forced the superhero games onto those studios.
That was what we said.
And they were like, but now that being said, the Eidos Montreal did a fantastic job with Guardians.
Did a great job.
Right. Yep. Fantastic job with Guardians.
Because it was more in line with what they normally do in a video game. It was just in the superhero universe, obviously, with Guardians, whereas they forced an entirely new type of genre, not new, but new to Crystal Dynamics in Avengers, making it a games as a service type game onto a studio who's never done one of those games. We said that, man. That's what it felt like. Like, bro, everything in this article.
He had hinted that one of the other games like could have used 8 more months and that, it would have been received better and stuff like that. But like, I mean, their games all reviewed for the most part very well, fairly well, at least. Crystal Dynamics as well. And they were never marketed properly. Never treated. Square did a bunch of timed exclusive deals and different things like that here and there all the time to like limit the ability of sales as well. And then you come out and he actually alluded to the fact that they only talked about these disappointments when it came to the Western devs, right? Which was another thing that we'd been saying a lot as well. Like they didn't ever talk about that stuff with the Japanese studios. It was all just about the Western devs. And pretty much he said that it seems like they were trying to do a garage sale, to try and maybe potentially get ready for an acquisition themselves. He said he'd heard rumors of that. I found that interesting as well too. We won't dive too much into that, but like it's it's just crazy. Everything that people have been saying and like thinking and like kind of reading between the lines and stuff. I mean, this is from the horse's mouth, right? This is a former founder of one of the studios that was acquired by Square that had to be behind, that was in all these big time meetings and all these things. Pretty much letting this stuff out now. So that was absolutely one of the most fascinating things to read. Usually we don't get that kind of insight from somebody like that. They don't usually come out because people don't want to burn bridges, right? A lot of times, so they're afraid, we're not going to call this out or whatever. Seems like he's, for some reason, doesn't give a shit about burning that bridge right now. And he was just kind of let it fly and was blatant about what he saw. So that was a great interview.
Yeah, it really was a lot of great insight. And like you said, man, we always say that a lot of times that we wish we could be a fly on the wall or wish somebody would write a book. So that interview was one of those moments where we kind of got to see behind the curtain. And it was exactly what we thought it was. And it's shocking to see it from somebody in the know like that, to even if you think that that's what's going on, to see an article that basically lays it all out the exact same way from one of the founders is like, oh, wow. Yep. Well, this is definitely a Square issue, has been since the beginning. They didn't know what to do with those devs. They didn't know how to treat those devs. They obviously, for whatever reason, I don't know why you buy devs you don't want unless you just expect they're going to be something different than that they've been for decades. I have no idea. But I'm just happy that the teams that are still there are now free. They're under Embracer Group. They're going to be given freedom to do what they want to do. I know the founder spoke, from Eidos side of things, that they wanted to go back to some of their IPs, whether it be Legacy of Kain, Thief, or obviously Deus Ex. And I
think
they might now have that chance.
He said that they needed 8 more months on. Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah. And I wouldn't doubt it, because that Thief, I've gone back and played it again.
It's not bad.
It can still be fun. Yeah. It's not bad, but it could have been so much more. Especially if you compare it to even like the 360 Deus Ex compared to that Thief. Like, you could just see where they were going with it. Everything that they could have done, knowing what they have from Deus Ex and putting it into that time frame of Thief, you could see bits and pieces, but it was missing so much that they could have done. Crazy amounts. So, but yeah, that was a great article.
Yeah, regarding Square, one last thing. In the words of former NFL head football coach, you would be very familiar with this man, Pong Soul, because he used to coach the Vikings as well as the Cardinals when he said this famous line: "They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook."
Good old Denny Green.
Good old Dennis.
Good
Green.
old Denny.
Square Enix is who we thought they were.
Rest in peace, Danny. I got an autograph on one of my hats around here somewhere from the Vikings.
Great coach, man. There's this absolute entertaining interview every time. Also, man, just like a passionate coach. I loved him.
Great regular season coach.
Yeah,
great regular season coach.
Yeah, he didn't fare too well with some of the
most high power offense ever in the history of the NFL. And you take a knee before halftime when you got Randy Moss sitting out there. Yeah, no, that's not how we play. But anyways, we won't go down that road. But you're right.
I'm talking to a Vikings fan here. I gotta
thought they are. Yes. But anyways, great article again, like you said, Mav, and really good to see. Hey, shout out to brother Psychonauts for dropping in here. Shout out to Boogeyman, Boogie. Shout out to Corey C showing up in the house as well. Mr. Xbot, excuse me. Wilfrey Rosario, great to see you as well. Listen, thank you all again for being here. Shane, you asked if we beat As Dusk Falls. I did beat As Dusk Falls this week. I talked about it in the beginning of the show. Fantastic game, start to finish. Book 2, just as good as Book 1. I know some people have said that Book 1 they thought was a little bit stronger. I understand why. You could tell that they were trying to finish up Book 2. They probably were maybe budget conscious at that point and time conscious. So there's a couple of the storylines that I could have seen being a little expanded upon that just wound up getting really cut short. But overall, I felt they both had their big moments and really good stuff. So yeah, I did beat it. Yeah. So just to answer your question there.
I have not yet. We've been watching like movies and shows and stuff a lot the last few days. So we have not picked it back up, but we both want to for sure. We just need to get to it.
Yes. It sounds like I'm saying as
dusk falls.
As dusk falls. Okay. Yeah. As dusk falls, not as dust falls. Splendiferous. Oh my God. Have your wife clean out your ears. Go get a Q-tip. I know she'll do it for you. Listen, love you, brother. Just messing with you. So, Matt, the other big thing in the beginning of the week that you kind of talked about already was, of course, KOTOR. One of my favorite all-time games. One of my responsibilities. Bro, this is crazy, man. This is insane. This is another one of those situations where it's a head scratcher from start to where we're at now, and we still don't know how this is going to play out. So and again, help. And you've talked about it. So fill me in if I make up or if I say anything wrong or if you got more information. So it came out that Aspire cut the lead designer,
the creative, the design lead, the design director and the art director.
Yeah. Yes, the design director and art director from KOTOR, and suspended the project
indefinitely
out of the blue.
Right.
Indefinitely.
So how this supposedly happened was even more interesting because this was after Aspire, and Jasper had taught me how to say this properly. For me, it was Aspire, or it was Aspire or Asper. I didn't know which one, but he says it's Aspire. There's the proper pronunciation of it. So Aspire was set to reveal a vertical slice demo. They were super excited about it. They're going to show Sony and they're going to show Lucasfilm, and they're going to have this meeting like, hey, here's this game you guys are investing in, and we're super proud of it. Here's the vertical slice so you can see kind of where we're at and what our vision is of this game that you have decided to fund. They show the demo. About it like a week later, the design director and the art director are fired, and unexpectedly as well. And this isn't like an amicable thing, right? Hey, I'm moving different directions. Unexpectedly, and the project is put on hold. So, I gotta say, I was curious about the choice for them to do this from the get-go. I was told that they were a good choice because they've done remasters of imports, right?
Yep.
But I had never seen them do a big individual AAA type game that's their creation, and I was a little critical of that. I was told that, hey, you give them the chance. It seems like Sony and Lucasfilm may not be giving them the chance anymore because I'm guessing what was shown may have not been to expectations for Sony potentially, or to Lucasfilm. We don't know who exactly. I would think it's a very important. This is one of the biggest remakes of all time, because this is like a remake of what a lot of people hold up as #1 on their all-time games list, right? It's one of the highest reviewed games ever on Meta, right? And
it's for sure the majority of people's #1 Star Wars game of all time. Anybody who's played it now, I know, we've had other games come along that people have loved, but if you've actually played KOTOR, most of the time it will surpass because it's the best Star Wars story we've ever had.
Regardless, this is a huge responsibility to take on this to this, and that's why I was curious about that choice to begin with. And it seems like potentially Aspire was like, hey, let's try and get the KOTOR remake, and then because this has been in development supposedly for 3 years, and they had maybe anticipated it was going to be originally slated for this year, and then they said more realistically now 2025, right? And with this vertical slice, it just didn't seem like things were adding up to how expectations were. Like I said, like they're known for ports of several games, porting games to either Switch, porting games to console, or to whatever it may be. They do a lot of that to mobile as well. I'd never seen them do a big individual game, their own creation. Not to say that they're not capable of it, but for me, it was always kind of weird it's kind of a huge leap, right? Like, okay, you got experience with Star Wars, but you haven't made your own big creation that's been a success really yet. And to go from like just doing ports to remaking one of to most people's best games of all time, it seemed like a bit of a leap to me. And maybe that's why Microsoft passed up on that project from them to begin with. Potentially, and but I don't know exactly what happened there. Now, I'm not gonna pretend like devs can't make that leap at times and stuff like that, but it seems like maybe that they bit off more than they could chew. Personally, that's the way it comes across to me.
And you certainly could be right, Matt. The reason why I didn't have a problem with it was from the simple fact that they weren't making a brand new game. They already had the foundation laid. Like all the intricacies of the story was already all laid out. All they were doing is remaking. Now, they were changing some major parts of the system, according to rumors, going from a more turn-based strategy style to an action style, because they thought that would obviously give it more appeal to a broader audience nowadays in 2022. But at the end of the day, they weren't going to have to reinvent the wheel with this game. The wheel was already made. They were just going to put some new rubber on it, right? That was why I didn't have
like a remaster, though. Like for me, like a remake is like making a game from the ground up, especially one that's as old as that.
They were going to use a whole new engine and stuff. So I get what you're saying there. Yeah. Yes, they were going to have to reinvent the assets, and they were going to have to do that stuff. What I'm saying is, what made KOTOR great?
Again, if you look at the story,
because if you look at KOTOR, the game, even back then, it wasn't like the pinnacle of game making as far as graphics goes, as far as performance goes, right? None of that was what made KOTOR great. It was the systems that were in place, the decisions, the story, the consequences, the fact that you could choose dark side, light side. Again, we have more games like that now where consequences and choice are a big deal, and you can kind of choose to be evil or choose to be good. Back then, it wasn't that was just starting to come about. So when KOTOR hit, and it hit with the quality it did, and it being a Star Wars franchise, it obviously leveled it up, right? All of a sudden, people were like, whoa, what do we have here? And all of a sudden, it became one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Star Wars game ever made. I personally like KOTOR 2 even better, but that's an argument for another day. But the fact is that I didn't have a problem with them doing that. Now, I did see issues, though, Mav, and I was in the DMs early on.
With the writing choices and stuff.
They hired on people who publicly said they did not like KOTOR. And one of them being the main writer. I'm not going to name her name.
Or Star Wars in general, knows the stories.
Right? Yeah, right. And she quit in November of last year. She quit the team, thankfully. So I was happy about that, because when you start bringing on people who don't have respect for the original work, then that's when I start seeing issues already. But, she left. There's still a couple people there who did have some issues with KOTOR as far as I know of. But at the end of the day, it wasn't the main story, the main writer, who I was afraid was going to change too much. But should have seen trouble coming then. when she quit. So what's going to be interesting, Mav, is because I think some people reached out for comment from the two that were fired. Both of them refused. One made some small comments that indicated that this was a surprise firing, that they were not thinking that this is the way it was going to go. Unexpected. Yeah. So I want to hear more. And I want to hear if this was just straight up Sony, Lucas, not happy with how far along they were, or with the quality that they were showing, even though the devs thought they were doing good work, or if there was some more internal strife going on, direction problems. Maybe that's what was causing it to not be in the spot that Sony and Lucas thought it was going to be in by the time it got there, because there has been some internal stuff. So I can't wait to hear more. Hopefully we'll get some more backstory on this. But yeah, shocking news, man. Again, thank God both those games are backwards compatible. Again, they're old. You can go play them. They don't hold up the way that you would like them to. I still love them to death because of what they are. I've gone back and restarted both of them again. And they do, they do go up to 4K on the Series X. So it is kind of nice. I mean, you are getting that, but it's still really dated in terms of everything else. But they're still playable. But now, like you said, Matt, the fact that they thought this was going to come out in 2022, when in reality,
they said more likely 2025 now. Yeah,
2025 now. And then they supposedly brought out, who did they supposedly bring on? There was rumors that they were giving it over to Saber, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. There is potentially thoughts are that Saber might take over. With Saber is actually like over at Aspire, and they're all part of Embracer now, because this game had already been ongoing, but last year Embracer acquired Aspire and put them under Saber. Right. So now they're wondering if the development's going to go into Saber. Right.
Correct. And it would make a lot of sense, because to your point, Mav, if it was their inexperience that caused them to get behind or just not live up to the quality standards, then you got to bring on an experienced team. And obviously Saber has much more experience with these types of projects. And they definitely could probably bring some stability and probably get this back on track again at some point. I don't want to see this become vaporware. That's the last thing I want. Again, I'm all for remakes and remasters to certain franchises. I think games need to live on. I'm not looking forward. I was hesitant in this one because they're talking about changing the battle system. I've been outwardly vocal about that. I don't believe in changing that battle system. I know why people want it to change, and I appreciate all of you who absolutely have to have action games in your life, but some games should stay, I believe, strict to what they started as. But even with that, I was still excited to see what they were going to do with one of my favorite games of all time, and a chance for it to live on in a new form in this day and age on current gen consoles. Starting out on PS5, of course, as an exclusive, but hopefully coming over to Xbox at some point. That was my hope. So I hope they get this back on track. I don't want to see this thing die on the vine. I don't want to see it to go away. I do want to see it live. So hopefully Saber is going to be the answer for that.
Saber right now has they just made Evil Dead the game, right? So that's the most recent game. They have Space Marine 2 in development at Saber Interactive. And also they have World War Z Aftermath, which had come out. And that's kind of the most recent stuff that they're working on. So this, maybe they could take on this with Space Marine 2 as well. I just, it's a big responsibility remaking this. If it was a remaster, right, I'd be like, that makes a lot more sense. But this is a monumental task to remake one of the best games of all time, according to a lot of people. And so we'll see where it goes. But apparently, things did not go well as planned, at least to this point. So it's going to be interesting to see. Like, there's thoughts about what if Sony pulled out of the publishing because of it, because they weren't happy with it and they backed out, and or maybe they're like, hey, you need to find a new developer, right? I think flags are probably raised, and I think now that Disney, again, for all that I can shred Disney about in a lot of different areas, right? One thing is for sure, right now they are on a roll, and they don't want things to tarnish
their IP.
Yeah.
Right. They don't want things to come out that are going to even a little bit take down some of the momentum that these IP have, including Star Wars at this point. The movies aside, everything they've done after the sequels, has been pretty much spot on with the masses. Not for all of us, but for the masses, it's been spot on. They've hit the right notes in most areas. Now, they've had a couple here and there, but they're going to look at these things more closely than they may have at one point, especially now that they're licensing out the Star Wars IP to so many different developers. I think they're going to set that bar higher and higher and saying, hey, if you're going to use our IP, it better be up to par. Otherwise, we're not going to allow you to release it. It's going to die, because we're not going to have that right now. We're on a roll and we want to continue that roll. So I think that might actually help this at the end of the day, if Saber can come on or another dev come on and actually take over again and make it right. So again, I hope so. I'm willing to wait on this one, however long it takes, whatever it takes. If it comes out great, even if they make changes I'm not necessarily approving of, I still want to see it live on, and I would certainly want to play it again no matter what, because it is a fantastic story. So hopefully this gets done. And I know a lot of people in the chat are excited for it as well. All right, Matt. So we covered those two smaller topics that you kind of went through. Great discussion. So then we're coming more up to date with what's going on this week as well. We have had a couple of interesting more things happen. Where shall we go here, Mav? Should we go to the Rockstar? Should we get into the main topic here?
Yeah.
The Rockstar, the Grand Theft Auto.
Let's get into some GTA 6. We actually got GTA 6 information. Wow. Official,
yes.
Almost.
Almost. It's from Bloomberg. It's from everybody's favorite journalist in the entire world. You all know who I'm talking about. It's one Mr. Jason Schreier, of course, coming through with another expose on a highly anticipated, obviously that's like putting it lightly at this point, Grand Theft Auto 6 news article with some inside sourced information about what's happening with Grand Theft Auto 6. And hey, guess what? It's sooner than we thought. A lot of us thought. I had been on the train. I had come around to the train that I thought they had been working on this for a lot longer than what they were letting on. And it seems that they have been, and it seems like that it is going to be, I think they said 2023, 2024, correct, Bev?
Yeah.
Is where it's at right now.
Which means probably 2024.
Yeah. Which probably means
the game's never like hit the earlier deadlines. I mean, just don't.
They just don't. But whatever. The point of case is that Schreier wrote this article, and it came out with some Grand Theft Auto 6 news, but it also came out with some Rockstar news as well. And obviously his main focus, he never just does an article on a game. He's got to include the culture. He's got to include what's happening at Rockstar. He's got to do the in-depth emotional side of things. So we got all of that as well. So let's just start there real quick. Because it does affect Grand Theft Auto 6. And I want to get your view, Mav, because you and I haven't discussed this, and I've got a pretty strong opinion on this, and I don't know where you're at with it, but let's get into this. So Rockstar overhaul started in 2018 when staff called out its culture of crunch, bullying, and frat house antics. This is from a Jason Schreier tweet, by the way, if all of you are blocked. This is where it's coming from, just so you guys know. The company has ousted managers accused of abuse and promised to cut down on overtime. One employee calls it a boys club transformed into a real company. It goes on to say Rockstar removed transphobic jokes from the most recent re-release of GTA 5 and quietly canceled an online mode called Cops and Crooks after the George Floyd protests. Grand Theft Auto 6 will have a female Latina protagonist, the first playable woman in modern Rockstar history, which has now also, they've added on to that. We found out that this is going to be a Bonnie and Clyde story. So it's going to be a female protagonist, and there's also going to be a male protagonist that goes along with her as well. So that was expanded upon.
I'm curious, does that mean co-op,
Yeah, there's a lot of different avenues they could do with this one, right, man? We'll talk about it. We'll get into speculation down here a little bit. He goes on to say production on Grand Theft Auto 6 has been slower than expected. largely due to the pandemic, but also due to these changes as employees grow accustomed to working at this new rock star. But many say morale is higher than ever and that the cultural changes are well worth it. All right, so let's start with this stuff, Mav, real quick, the culture stuff within Rockstar and what's going on. Obviously, the good old boys clubs of the old days are gone. It didn't affect just the game industry. It affected most every industry for a long time, the good old boys club, and it's still around in a lot of places. But culturally speaking, in 2022, we're in a totally different place in this stuff that is frowned upon. Again, I have a different view of crunch than most people or than other people do. Again, I'm never for worker abuse at all. Okay. If you're getting paid, it's overtime. I'm from the generation, maybe the last generation is Gen X, that you get the job done. And if it takes overtime, you get the job done. Okay. That's how you do things. I understand that this is a different world now. I understand that people have different expectations, that the old ways, even if I still agree with them, may not be the best thing for companies and for people, because there's people in younger generations that aren't built the same way. And so that's okay. If they got to change that, they got to change that. If that means games take longer, that means games take longer. I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. Okay. It is what it is. Okay. That's the way the industry's going. Rockstar decided they had to make a change. Cool. They made that change. Right. What do you think, Mav? Do you like what you're hearing coming out of Rockstar? Does this make more sense now why we've been waiting on so much information from Grand Theft Auto 6? And do you think this is obviously some looking in the mirror? I mean, we have a lot of criticisms of 2K and Rockstar, but is this a moment where they have self-reflection, where they're actually looking in the mirror and saying, hey, we got to do things differently from here on out?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like kind of weird. It's like one of the studios that's most kind of like synonymous with that kind of stuff, right? For a long time. I mean, it even permeates through the games that they made, which had like a lot of character in it, because like a lot of the writing and stuff that went into that, and it was kind of like the GTA was always kind of like the FU game, like gonna do what we do, right? You know what I mean? And it wouldn't be a Schreier article, like you said, if it didn't discuss crunch. And I'm kind of like, as one thing that's bugged me a lot about the crunch talk or whatever is that it's called crunch when it comes to video games, but in every other industry where everybody has a regular job and work, it's called overtime. You know what I mean? And where I understand like the being forced and not getting any increase in pays and stuff like that, and some of the stuff we've seen of like people working like 7 days a week, like 16-hour days, and like sleeping at the offices and stuff for like months on end and stuff, and ruining their families and everything like that. That's not okay, right? That's not okay. Now, like when it comes to people working like occasionally 50, 60-hour weeks, I've done that for a long time. And I know a lot of people that don't have people advocating in articles talking about crunch in several industries. Retail, for example. If you're a retail manager, right, out there
during the holidays,
you're getting a salary. You know what I mean? It's respect to you, right? Because you're working 60, 70 hours at least usually, and you're not getting much more for it. And if you are, and you're also not having people champion articles for you either. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that it's okay. What I'm saying is that it permeates way beyond just the gaming community. It's a workplace culture thing. In America, especially, right? It's been a thing. Americans are known to work a lot. That's been a thing in media and news for a long time. And documentaries about America from other countries and stuff always kind of reflect this, you know what I mean? But like, that's kind of what it always been about. Like that being said, I'm not saying like, hey, people should stop working, or people like, can't work too much, or whatever. Like it's the point I was just trying to make is that it's more than a gaming thing with that kind of stuff. Right. And you alluded to this, it goes across all industries, tech, industrial, manufacturing, construction, retail, everything. This permeates across everything, right? And so here's where I like about the article, right? I don't like Schreier's always attacking the gaming industry for this stuff, right? However, I do like when I hear that employees are happier, right? So ultimately, that's a good thing, right? Because for me, like, I look at it like, hey, if you're having a better experience as an employee at a place and you're happier to be there, maybe that means ultimately that it's a less toxic thing to begin with, right? And ultimately that makes everybody more respectful and prideful about what the games that we're getting to play. You know what I mean? So I'm happy about the changes. And actually, I mean, like, it's good to see this actually as opposed to an attack type article as well, right? Where I see like, hey, all these devs are actually enjoying this new culture and stuff like that. I'm actually really happy to see that, you know? And I think that it's a positive thing. Now, this also reflects into changes in GTA as well, that I'm sure a lot of people will not like, right? Because, you know, but this was already writings on the wall once one of the Hauser brothers left, right?
Yeah.
And I think we all kind of saw this coming. I think they even alluded themselves. They don't know how, in this climate, in this day and age, how they can release a GTA being the way it was. It's just not like, I don't know. It just would, it might come across a lot different now. You know what I mean? That's what they said. And
all right, let's jump into this a little bit. Let's go in. So let's give some details. So there was some actual details that came out about the game itself too. Working title is Project Americas. Main location is a fictional version of Miami. Freaking amazing. Back to Vice City again.
Lots of like rumors about this, and it turns out a lot of those rumors turned out to be true, right? So.
Right, exactly. Back to Vice City again. My favorite GTA of all time. Vice City, modern day Miami. Cool. Awesome. Love it. Plus its surrounding areas. And then we also got additional information that the game's going to evolve over time. Hey, guess what? They didn't come out and say it, but it's a games as a service as well, which we kind of expected this day and age for Grand Theft Auto, obviously with GTA Online being the money printing machine it is and has been for a long time. Of course, they're going to do this with the single player game as well. So they're going to expand. They're going to add new cities as time goes on. Awesome. I'm all for it. This is great. Again, I'm not the biggest GTA guy anymore, but this is all hitting me right. The Bonnie and Clyde story, perfect. Again, I've seen a lot of people claim out there. Maybe I just filtered my Twitter finally enough that I've gotten rid of all the clowns. Claim that people are having a problem with the female protagonist.
I haven't seen anybody have a problem with that.
I haven't seen that.
I think it's great, honestly, for a GTA game. And like my wife is super happy. Kate's like,
of course,
this is exciting, super exciting for her, right?
Bonnie and Clyde action. I'm all for, and again, I'm a female whenever I can be. Everybody here knows that. So, but I haven't seen that backlash. I've seen more backlash. Nights. Yeah, I've seen, especially on Saturday night, I've seen more backlash about what Mav was talking about. We'll get it here in a second. The game world is already large. With more interior locations than any of the previous GTA games. Oh, it's freaking amazing. Always want to go inside more as well. And then we got some other articles. And I don't read Kotaku anymore. Kotaku was the main one, but I saw other people allude to what Mav was talking about. They went in and quietly, as Schreier pointed out before, removed some of the transphobic jokes from GTA 5. In a patch. And so now there's some people alluding to the fact that this culture change is going to lead to a much more PC Grand Theft Auto, which is what Mav was just talking about.
Right.
All right, Mav, let's dive in this a little bit.
This is a touchy subject.
It's a touchy subject here. And I understand if some people are both sides. Okay. Listen, Grand Theft Auto is not Grand Theft Auto if it's not offending everybody. Okay. Period. Point blank. It's the same as, and I've seen other people bring this up, and it's the first thing that I thought of. If South Park all of a sudden went PC, it would be nothing. It would be nothing. People would not watch it. Yeah. There are certain things with satire, and that's what Grand Theft Auto is. It's heavy satire. It has always been satire on American culture, okay, and politics. It has always done that. It has been equal in its offensiveness towards all sides and everything in between, okay? That's what made Grand Theft Auto great from a story standpoint, is that listening to radio stations, you could hear funny shit that was making fun of everybody. You could see people that were the complete stereotypes, you know, in their own ways, you know. You could see all of that in a Grand Theft Auto, but it was all equally spread out. Nobody, just like comedy, just like any satire, just like any TV show, just like any movie. This is something that I don't get into this often here because it's like Matt said, it's a touchy subject. It's a big subject. It's a huge subject. Our society is losing this right now, especially in America, and it's elsewhere in the world as well. But we'll talk about America because that's where we are right now. It's losing this aspect of it. When you start attacking satire, when you start trying to cancel comedians, when you start going after those that make fun of everyone equally, there's a problem. It's a canary in a coal mine situation. And that's where I'm at with this. If Grand Theft Auto loses its edge, it becomes another just open world generic game to me. We've already seen this, in my opinion, with Saints Row, the new Saints Row coming out. It looks extremely bland and generic to me. The open world might still be crazy fun, might be still some ridiculousness in there, whatever the case may be, but it lost the edge of the original Saints Rows. And we saw that slowly but surely happening, but because they really went crazy. They went really out there with the alien stuff. It's still fun to play, but whatever. But when you lose the essence of what made you great originally, I'm not saying this game is going to flop. There's no way this game flops. Okay. This game is going to sell.
Yeah.
It's going to be the most massive game release of all time in history. Guaranteed, hands down. I would put money down on that. One of the most
impressively made games as well in history as well. Just like GTA 5 was when it came out. I mean, it could be absolutely mind blowing. We've never seen anything like Red Dead Redemption 2. When we played that for the first time, it's like, what? You know what?
Absolutely.
What did Rockstar just make? Now they're capable of that kind of stuff. They're doing all this new AI tech behind the scenes and all this things like that with the cloud and things like that might be involved with this as well. So it could be one of the most impressive games ever as well, Paul.
And it absolutely could be. And so this is a big giant wait and see for me, man.
Yeah.
This is a big giant wait and see for me. And you're right for a second. You don't know unless you play through the story, but nowadays I can watch people play the story and make my own judgment of it from a story standpoint, because I can watch the game being played, which is what I did with The Last of Us 2. So again, this is a big wait and see for me, because again, if they do lose that edge, to me personally, it's just not going to be Grand Theft Auto. But
so you're saying you don't want them to Disneyfy GTA?
No.
Right. Yeah.
No, I want them to offend everybody.
GTA is synonymous with being the opposite of politically correct, right?
Right.
And that's one of the reasons.
Let me just end this, man. Let me just end it this way. I'll let you go. If they wind up cleaning up everything and they take all of it out, all the offensiveness out of it, no matter who you are, again, I think it's just going to be a bland GTA. There's also the risk that they just take out one side of things and they keep the offensive-ness to other side. And that's where you also go wrong. And then you're going to have a bunch of upset. You're already going to have upset people. I've already seen people already about this stuff going ape shit. Like I said, for me, it's a big wait and see. I'll wait to judge it when it comes out and really find out what it's about. I'm not going to take articles from Kotaku, and all this kind of stuff, because they could still do it. They can lower the level. They could still have some offensiveness,
or they could do different things to replace that. That could be, know what I mean? Like
they could, and I give creative people the chance to prove that they, have that ability to do that, because there are some creative ways they could do that, Mav, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that they still come through with the edginess and it still comes off well, and it's just a different type than it was before. That's certainly possible. So this is a big wait and see for me. But again, either way, whether you take it all out or you just wash one side of it clean, but you keep the other side in, that goes against everything you started this series out as. Again, this is a series built upon murdering people, of paying hookers for services and then killing them and stealing their money. This is look, this is a game built on doing some of the most awful things you could ever do in real life. The fact that words have now become more violent than the actual actions in the game, and that people want the words out more than they want the actions out, that's again a scary thought to me at this day and age. But that's just where I'm at. It's a wait and see for me. I do see how it could go that way, but go ahead, Matt. You pick up and take off.
Yeah,
do what you do.
It's a touchy subject because, like, you know, there's always people out there that are offended, right? And it's like, well, okay, so you want to be respectful as possible, but also you don't want to lose identity of what makes things funny and you know, for me, it's like making GTA was always like making fun of America, right? Like, I would almost want a GTA just making fun of politically correctness. You know what I mean? And in and of itself, right? Like, because that the trends, whatever GTA has always been, it's been about whatever the trends are kind of going on in the society at the times, right? And kind of like really like bringing it out, fleshing it out, and like twisting it on its head, and letting us like look at ourselves from this, like I said, satirical point of view, and having a blast. That being said, there's certain things maybe that don't need to be in there to accomplish that, right? And I think that's where we're gonna see the balance, and they're gonna be trying to test this and kind of move the needle. Now, this has probably always been a balance check with GTA, right, from the get-go, right? I just think now that line has just moved up a little bit, right, to where now maybe they're taking a closer look at some of the things that may have been okay before, but not as okay now in this different time that we're living in with this kind of stuff. Now, I think GTA can still be crazy edgy and have a lot of stuff with just removing something. So it's going to be just about finding that balance. And when is it too much, or do they, like I said, do they find the other things to kind of replace some of that? Ultimately, other things that have always made GTA what they are is the writing has been absolutely fantastic. The story has been absolutely fantastic. And if you have a good gripping story, like and you have the amazing graphics and the fully fleshed out detailed world and everything that they have, it still comes across as something that nobody else is accomplishing, right? And I think like you said, it's going to be a huge seller no matter what. I'm not necessarily saying I'm wait and see. I'm going to be out on that game day one, right? Obviously, like for me, obviously, like I'm just going to be a GTA 6 day one regardless, right? I'm just being honest. There's no way in hell I'm not going to be playing GTA 6 day one. But I will be interesting when I'm playing it and being like, okay, how is this different than the past GTAs, and see how much of a difference I notice, right? And will it ruin the experience for me or will it not? And I won't know that until I play the game. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of this, right, is, you know, is kind of up in the air. I think people just look at the word, oh, it's going to be a female. Oh, it's woke. It's woke. You know, that shit drives me freaking crazy. You know what I mean?
And
like
I didn't see, again, maybe I've just done a great job filtering. And I know some people have claimed that that's been out there, but I haven't seen that obnoxious take to that point. I've seen it encapsulated that in everything that we just talked about, as well as just another piece of it, which again, I mean, again, everybody knows I'm not about that at all. I could care freaking less who the protagonist is. If the protagonist is a great character, it don't matter if it's a fuzzball on the ground, a piece of dust that I'm rolling around with. If it's a great character, it's a great character. I don't care what the main protagonist looks like. But at the end of the day, I just think it just, again, the red flags are everybody up. And I think it was overall just kind of the picture that the article and what people fear the most of what made Grand Theft Auto everybody's favorite.
They're afraid that
gone.
Rockstar's lost its edge, so they're afraid that GTA 6 is going to lose its edge, right? Well, and I don't necessarily, I mean, maybe it'll be a better game because the workplace is better, right? It's possible. It's very possible. Like, maybe
it's just going to take longer.
It just takes longer, right? Like, I think ultimately, like, there's really, if I'm being honest, there's really nothing negative I could take away from what I read personally. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I understand that some people's fears with GTA because it's such an important franchise, right? But like for me, I'm looking at it saying like probably gonna be a freaking amazing game. And I'm probably the stuff that's omitted from there. Am I gonna have an issue from it if they do omit things that they used to have in the past? Personally, not too much. You know what I mean? Will it be less funny? I don't know. It depends on what they replace that comedy with, right? It's my main like worry was always like the writing just being different because I forget the Hauser brother that was responsible mainly for that. He's the one that left, right?
Yeah.
So that was always kind of like on my mind is like, how do you? It's like when the doctors left from BioWare, right? When Vincent Pella and Jason West left from Infinity Ward, right? When you have these different exoduses of the creative minds that form the studios to begin with, what happens to the studio, right? And in general, we haven't seen a great track record of success. Now, Infinity Ward recovered, right? But they'd had a big downturn with Call of Duty Ghost, and Modern Warfare 3 wasn't as big a success as Modern Warfare 2 was, right? But they recovered. Modern Warfare 2019 is fantastic, right? One of the best Call of Duties ever now. But sometimes when these studios lose the creative juice that really drove them from the top, you can see a shift. And that was my always main concern with Rockstar. But maybe that was part of the culture issues as well. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. We can only speculate. We can only wonder what's going on there. But I think ultimately there's so much damn talent at Rockstar, and they've been working on this probably for so damn long. And I just can't wait to see it. I can't wait to play it. I love the idea of the female protagonist and the Bonnie and Clyde stuff. I think that's fantastic. I love the Miami aspect of this as well.
Absolutely.
Just there's so many like cool shit here. I love the idea of adding the locations over time, right? And it says and also the interior locations, like you said.
Yeah,
that's something I've always been wanting, like, you know, because there's so few. You know, you go by all these buildings and stuff all the time, and it's like, okay, you can go in there, you can go in there, but I wanted to go in everywhere. You know what I mean? Fully flesh it out. Now, is that possible? Probably not. But I think that there's more to be excited here for me than anything else, and I can't wait for this game now, man. It makes me feel better about it a little bit, just because, you know, the workplace is on the up and up a little bit, you know. So hey, cool. Yeah, good on Rockstar for making those changes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They were proactive, not letting it get to the point of a Ubisoft or an Activision Blizzard, right?
It could have been a very different Schreier article, right?
Could have been. We could add another massive lawsuit happen against 2K and Rockstar, and it could have been this big ordeal that we have to talk about. We'd much more have discussions about the games and debate whether or not, you know, some of the changes they may make. That I'd rather be talking about games all day long than businesses having major toxic workplaces that are causing people to feel like they need to go somewhere else, or that they, you know, are breaking down. I mean, yes, absolutely, at the end of the day. So shout out to them for doing the changes necessary to make it a better work environment. If that translates
maybe at the end of the day, it'll be a more inviting game for more people to play as well, right?
If it translates into a better product, great. Again, that point you just made, Mav, I don't always agree with.
I understand,
but it is what it is. I just, again, I'm the person who says not every game for everybody. If it's not something you like and enjoy, then you just don't enjoy it. Again, it's happened to me, Mav. You know, again, we could talk about Star Wars, we could talk about all sorts of things that have happened to me over my life that I no longer enjoy because certain things just changed, and that's okay. Again, I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm like, then it's just not for me. I could still go on a rant about it from time to time, but at the end of the day, do I think about it constantly? No, I don't. I go find something else I enjoy. That's just who I am. But, you know, I think that if this does wind up being, again, there's no doubt about it, will be the biggest launch in the history of any video game, hands down, unless they do something crazy and make it exclusive to like one console. Okay. Other than that,
they ain't gonna do that with GTA. Be the biggest. That would be like the biggest like dumbass decision ever, ever. Or somebody whipped out a lot of money on that. Unless somebody bought 2K, that ain't happening. Right.
And I still don't think in this day and age it would happen.
Yeah, even then it probably is unlikely.
Not now.
Yeah,
it seems like all that's changed as well.
How many copies of GTA 5 sell so far?
We're at 120 million, weren't we? Something like that. we're over 100 million, I think, at this point.
3 generations of it.
Yeah,
we still got the GTA 5 remake. I was put on. It was postponed, I think, or not remake, the remaster again.
The remaster,
I think I don't know if it was put on hold, but it was delayed or something like that.
Something like that. But whatever I know it's over 100 million at this point. So
160 million copies as of
165
February.
Million. Yeah, I was even low. 165 as of March 31st.
Wow.
Listen. It's ridiculous. Okay, it's ridiculous, and that's why we haven't gotten one for this long. So the fact that we are finally getting one is great news. Again, I'm not the biggest GTA fan anymore, but I look forward for the potential of this one. And like we just talked about, the Bonnie and Clyde, all the stuff they're talking about, I am all for. So this is a big wait and see for me, see how the story goes, because I'm not a GTA Online guy at all. I could care less about the online. I'm all about the story, whether or not the story grabs me. 5 did not grab me like the other ones did.
Yeah, 4 is my favorite.
So I'm hoping this. Yeah, Vice City's mine, but that's neither here nor there. That's really old. But again, yes, 4 was good as well. But I hope this one is returned to form. I hope they bring something new to the table. I hope the story's great. And I hope I can jump into another GTA game, especially, like you said, Matt, with interiors now being open, added additional cities being added as time goes by. As long as they don't bring NFTs or something stupid into this, we're good. So I can't wait to see more. But I'm excited, Mav, because we're getting to talk about Grand Theft Auto 6. Even if the news has to come secondhand, man, it's still great to know that we are on the cusp, quote unquote, of GTA 6, maybe even a little over a year away if they really do get it out at the end of 2023. Like I'm more on your side of things. I think it's 2024. But if we do happen to get a surprise announcement for next holiday, bro, think about it. Think about what 2023 is going to look like now. Holy shit.
And, I just really want them to release this so they can start working on the next Red Dead. That's really let's like get this out so you can start working on Red Dead 3. Please.
Yeah. I'm just sad that we're not going to get an update to Red Dead, the original, due to the fact that they found out they can't just release nonsense in a remastered form and sell it to everybody without backlash. They'd actually have to put some work into it. But Red Dead is one of those ones. Red Dead 1 is one of my greatest all-time games as well. And it deserves to be done so that we can have 60 frames and have all the goodness that we get nowadays. God, man, it's just so sad. They put it supposedly they put it on hold after the backlash from the Grand Theft Auto remasters. So, but yeah, shout out to Rockstar for everything they've done. That was a good discussion, Mav. Again, touchy subject. Can go a lot of different ways. I saw Kaitlin in the chat. She's got different viewpoints as well. Again, respect all viewpoints here, no matter what, at the end of the day. Again, if it winds up being something not for me, it'll be not for me and I'll move on. It is what it is. So, what should we jump into next, Mav? Man, Black Panther, brother. Let's talk a little Black Panther here. Big news this week. Obviously, the trailer for the new movie came out, which fans of the Marvel Universe are all hyped about it. I know you are obviously hyped about it. It's going to be probably one of the biggest movies of all time. If the internet has anything to say about it, everybody and their mother is excited about this.
That trailer gave me chills, bro. Absolute chills.
It's and again, nothing but love for all of you getting everything that you want from Marvel and everywhere else these days. It's fantastic to see stuff that I used to get bullied for, that I, used to be considered total geek, is now hit the masses, and that we got all this content and that you guys can find something that you love out of this. And I totally understand it. But not only did we get the movie trailer, which everybody was really hyped about, we also got some news from Grub this week. Shout out to Jeffrey Grub, the famous hair. Now working over at Giant Bomb. Shout out to him for the new job. He moved too recently, moved his entire family as well. Wow. But he came out with some exciting news for people. EA, Mav, is supposedly with a brand new studio with one of the former devs from Monolith.
Monolith.
Huh?
Monolith.
Monolith. Yeah, Monolith heading up a brand new studio, and their first project out the gate is going to be a Black Panther game. And it's going to be single player, open world map.
Right.
Yes, coming from EA. Yes, Zampella has changed some culture over at EA, obviously, because this never would have happened if Zampella didn't do what he did with Jedi. So Black Panther, open world, single player, supposedly, again, this is all rumor, but Grub is usually spot on.
Yeah.
Man knows his stuff and he's got great sources. It's going to you're going to start from the time when Black Panther has died and you're going to take over the role. And so, man, I'm going to kind of let you carry this one because, again, for me, doesn't do much for me, but it is exciting news for everybody. And I'm happy. Again, again, I'm selfish as a gamer, but I still could put myself in other people's shoes and go, this is really cool. This is going to be exciting. For you, Matt, what does this mean, man, to potentially get this game coming from EA, single player, open world, take over the role of Black Panther? Where did your mind go when you hear this? Did you have any kind of speculation on what you thought the game could do or where it would go or what you have expectation wise?
I think it could be absolutely amazing. Like I think there's so much potential with it. The only concern I have is it's EA. Right?
Yeah. Right, always. There's always a little hint of that.
Like the back of my mind is EA. Like, will they like rush it out, or like will they underfund it, or will they like, I don't know. There's always those aspects. Also, the second thing that's like it is a new studio. I know that the main guy came from Monolith, and he obviously has a lot of cred now doing those Shadow of War games and those things, right? With Lord of the Rings. So he's one thing used to doing licensed games, right? And also used to doing open world RPG-ish style action games and doing them well, right? So that's another aspect. So I think that's kind of what's going to bring them there. And maybe they were looking for somebody with that expertise and why they brought him over, right? And maybe they're like, okay, we got this project, we need somebody, and maybe that's why this whole thing happened. It's just a thought. Because if you're going to look around, remember he kind of left like pretty quick, and I'm at EA now. I was excited for this new role and excited to share things ahead, right? And now we see that this is potentially that project. I get why he made that move. You know what I mean? It's like that's gonna be not. We're talking about how big the movie's gonna be. If they do this right, this is gonna be an absolutely massive game, like big time deal.
Yep.
Could be out there like Wolverine, a game everybody's looking forward to that from Insomniac, with the Spider-Man games as well. This could be up there in that echelon, like with expectations, maybe even potentially surpass it, because Black Panther has permeated something within the community as well. Like it's kind of transcended things with kind of become a cultural icon, right? With that first Black Panther movie. And I think that you have a lot of potential. Now it has to be done right? This is, again, we talked about it before with Aspire, responsibility, right? This is an IP that demands a lot of responsibility right now, right?
Yep.
After Chadwick Boseman's death, especially now, I mean, it's just like the cemented a lot with it. There's a lot of meaning and stuff and importance to this character and to what Black Panther means, right? So if you come out there and just like release a buggy ass mess without good writing and then it's not gonna, people are gonna be upset. You know what I mean? So you got to do right. You got to do right by this. You got to be responsible about this. Make sure you do it the right way. Do it big, and if they do it though, it's gonna be amazing. So I'm excited to see what it's gonna be. I'm excited with the choice that they made. To head this game because of Monolith. I think there's so many interesting things you could do. And what if they develop their own version, kind of the Nemesis, not stealing it exactly, but kind of, Assassin's Creed kind of uses it a little bit in certain ways as well. What if they kind of have like an idea of like, you get some villains coming after you and stuff like that. I could think of some different things that they could use to create this game that could have some of the identity that he brings from Monolith. Right.
Right.
And I think there's a lot to look forward to, man. Will you give this game a chance, Pong Soul? Is it something you did end up liking Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, but I didn't even really get far in Guardians of the Galaxy because it doesn't. I mean, again, I respect what it's done, so I always will try things. But would I actually? Again, I'll have to see what they do with it. Again, it could be a game that totally surprises me, and I'm like, okay, even though I'm not necessarily a Marvel Universe fan, like it still looks so amazing that I'm going to jump into it and try it out. That it's got all these different aspects that I love about games, and it certainly could do that. So again, I'm not going to cast it away just because it is part of the Marvel Universe, and I'm just not interested in that right now. I'm not going to do that. So it certainly could grab me. I think the big thing here, Mav, is just from the outside looking in, is that, like you were talking about, the respect that has to be taken with this franchise, with this IP specifically, is even a little bit up and beyond the norm, right? For what it means to a lot of different people out there. You can have big, gigantic franchises like the Avengers and that kind of stuff, but for a lot of people, Black Panther is personal, for all sorts of different reasons. And with the death of Chadwick Boseman and all that kind of stuff, just adds on top of that. And it'd be interesting to know what happened behind the scenes when this pitch was made, because I've got to imagine that, again, as we were talking about with like KOTOR, with the new emphasis that Disney now has on these different IP that they now own, I've got to imagine that this was a game that they didn't just willy-nilly give to somebody.
Oh, for sure.
That they probably had people make pitches on, right? That they probably had a bunch of different studios from all different publishers come to them and say, hey, we want to make this Black Panther game. Here's our idea. And I got to assume that Disney picked the best of the bunch, or what they felt was the best of the bunch. So I got to say that, the experience that the Monolith, team has had with licensed IP came into it, but they must have made a pitch, him and a small group that he probably had at that point when they were still building the studio. So think about that too. They chose this studio, they chose EA, but it had to come with some type of pitch that impressed Disney, that impressed, the people at Marvel, that said that, hey, this will work with everything that we're building in the Marvel universe. And on top of that, oh, by the way, this studio isn't even fully built yet, but to put the trust in that and the faith in that group to get it together and to be able to make this game says a lot. So I got to imagine that whatever it is that they're making over there has the potential to be special, that it is going to take great care with this franchise, and great respect with Black Panther himself and what that character means. And so I think that obviously that says a lot already about this new studio. So to me, that's exciting. I always love to see that. And I always love to see the vets in the industry get a chance at creating their own studio, working with an IP that obviously I don't think that EA just pushed on them, but he chose and said, yeah, I'd love to work on Black Panther. Let's do this. I'm going to make this right. And then went out of all the pitches with Disney to be granted that, incredible honor to work with this franchise. So to me, that all says the right stuff about this, and I can't wait to see what they come out of it with it. Shout out to Splendiferous, absolutely thrilled. He did a $2 super chat. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Absolutely thrilled about this game. My heart in it. And I think that's what a lot of people feel about the movies, and now this potential of this game coming out as well. So I'm excited. I'm excited for everybody who is invested in this character, who wants to see this greatness come to not only the big screen, but also to their TVs, on their couches, or PCs, or whatever the case may be, in game form. This is a big moment. And like you said, Mav, I will take a look at it. And if it's something that interests me, I definitely will jump into it. I mean, again, it's there's always a chance. There's always a chance it's going to grab me, but I'm just excited for everybody. Again, these IPs finally getting games. Look, bro, we talk about this all the time. The golden age of gaming is here, man. And this is a sign of that these movie IPs, yes, of course, Marvel has taken over the world. And of course, that's going to open up more opportunities. But the fact that we're getting quality, high quality games like Guardians of the Galaxy, yes, you're still going to have your misses to some people, like Avengers, of course, didn't hit the way everybody wanted to, but you get a freaking amazing game like Guardians of the Galaxy out of the blue. That would have happened last gen. It's only because of the golden age being here. and where we're at with video games, that this is even a chance that this is happening. So
I'm going to need Xbox to step up into this ballpark, man. Like,
yeah,
I'm just,
yeah.
I know that some people like, Xbox doesn't need to, you know, they get, you know, they have their own big franchises and stuff like that. I'm on one of the people that says like, why not? Right? Like Disney has some of the biggest IP out there. It doesn't necessarily have to be Disney. It can be something else, right? But for me personally, just because I'm a huge MCU fan, right? And I'm a huge fan of all of those characters and all of that stuff, right? They already got the Indiana Jones thing going, so but that's already brought that to the table. But like you see them, Disney is and Lucasfilm are in a new era for them. They're giving out projects left and right, right? Mm-hmm. You know, to all these different devs. They have so many Star Wars games in the works. Now with this rumor, if it's true, Black Panther, the game, then you also have the new Wolverine game coming as well. You got Midnight Suns coming as well, right? From 2K. So they're not just
which I'm back on the train with, by the way, man.
Yeah, so that added a little bit more interest to you.
Yeah. The more videos I've seen of it, it's added. I'm still not happy with the card system, but it's added a little bit. Sorry, sidetrack.
I'm kind of with you a little bit. I'm getting more excited for it. There is one Marvel IP that is underutilized across the board. Has not been fleshed out yet in the MCU, and it's going to be a ways before we see it. There's one franchise that we haven't seen in gaming really in forever. Now, Sony's going and making a Wolverine game, right? But where the hell are the X-Men? Right? Where are the X-Men, dude?
You're doing this just because I'm here with you, man.
No, it's not, dude. I was actually, you know, I was going to make a video about a pitch for Xbox to make an X-Men game. People have been talking about this before. I didn't because I was listening to I forget what show, and they were talking about Black Panther and talking about all this stuff, and then I made a comment in the chat, and then they all started talking about potential like about X-Men and all these different things. So I was like, you know, I'm okay. I'm not going to make a video now but you know, screw it. I'm here now live on our show, Pong. Xbox, right? Like Xbox, it's just X-Men. You got X. You got the X. Forever. You got also. I mean, I know like a lot of this Microsoft stuff right now, like being like, you know, people get a little turned off with some of the things, like how like much they're going to with like social and cultural like messages and stuff like that, right? A lot. Mm-hmm. But if one of the Xbox's big messages right now is inclusivity, right? Obviously, everybody can play anywhere, right? And that whole thing. X-Men is all about that. And its message that is like one of the core fundamentals of X-Men is about acceptance, right? Correct. And that's what the main foundation of that comic, right? Is acceptance, right? So come on, like you have X-Men, this massive franchise. It kind of correlates with what your messaging is with the brand. You have the whole X thing, which is obvious, right? Nobody else is utilizing it to its full extent. You have a team up thing, so that leads into the multiplayer component and the co-op component that Microsoft absolutely loves. Why isn't anybody doing X-Men? Please, Microsoft, choose a team. Go out and get a third-party dev. Somebody pitch to Disney, Lucasfilm, whoever you, no, not Lucasfilm. They're not involved with X-Men. Pitch to Disney to freaking make an X-Men game. It's just a fit match made in heaven to me. I don't know. It just seems too good to be true. Like, why not do it? Everybody else is. Somebody else is going to do it if you don't do it. Come on.
Look, shout out to KS Sante. I was listening to the other night on Boom's on Primetime Gaming the other night, and he brought up the fact that it takes foresight to make these deals. And for whatever reason, and I was lurking. I couldn't because I was at work, so I couldn't chat. Xbox has lacked some foresight in some of the deals, and a lot of it probably has to do with the perceived. And again, whether or not this is internal, we'll never know this stuff, man. But this is the stuff that's so frustrating from the outside as a fan, as somebody who watches this stuff happen. If Xbox still has lingering issues with licensed IP that has caused them to have this delay where they have not jumped on board with the juggernaut that is the MCU or whatever the case may be at any point. Shout out to K. Asante. He said it takes people with foresight to see this stuff. Well, right now we are talking about that foresight because X-Men, by the looks of things, and anybody who's maybe you guys don't know, but if you've heard me, you've seen me around, I've even popped onto a fun pop to talk about X-Men. My main problem here is that the X-Men franchise has been ruined. Okay. For me, back in the day, for those of us around during the uncanny X-Men days, 80s, 90s, the absolute pinnacle of X-Men to me, the Avengers were a B team compared to X-Men. X-Men were the A real
team of Marvel. Yeah,
absolutely. The X-Men, like you talked about, Matt, had everything that is now important in this day and age to people. Way back then, it was the antithesis, or no, it was the epitome of everything that we talk about nowadays, and diversity, inclusion, all of that. This group was made up of outcasts from the standpoint that they were mutants. They were disliked by society in general, but the entire group's made up from people from all over the world, Each one of them came from a different place when it comes down to their origins. And nobody cared. Everybody just loved the X-Men. That's what it was all about. And it was about their struggle to fit in within society and how Professor X would try to get society to realize that they were good instead
your peaceful
of
approach,
just,
more of your like abrasive approach, right?
And then you had Magneto on the other side of things who wanted to, basically make humans, regular humans, subservient, right? That they were lesser. But then you had Professor X saying, no, we want to fit in with everybody and we want to help the world and society and humans and use our powers for good. That was always the case with X-Men. X-Men were the greatest thing in the face of the planet, and it was during my heyday when I absolutely was 100% into the comics, and we didn't get good things. We actually got some good X-Men games back in the day. But you're right, Mav. If you're going to do this, now is the time, because according to what we were just showing, for the next phases of the MCU, it doesn't look like the X-Men maybe will get teased here and there, maybe an introduction of mutants at some point, but actual X-Men showing up probably isn't going to happen until after Secret Wars, which means we're talking what, Mav? You know better than me, because I don't follow this stuff heavily. I just know from what I know. How long? We're talking maybe 2026, maybe 2027?
I think so. Secret Wars was 2025 or 2026. I can't remember, but they just really revealed the slate. So phase 6 goes into like 2026, and Secret Wars is part of that.
So we're probably not going to see full-blown X-Men until down that road. So if you start making a game now, it will be a fantastic foresight.
2025, because the 2025 slate, they revealed 2 Avengers movies and they revealed Fantastic Four, right? So there's like a bunch of movies before that they have not released, revealed for phase 6 yet.
Right. So it would hit perfect. You have a chance, if you start making a game within the next year, to hit that mark, and it would be perfect. Again, the marketing writes itself. X-Men on Xbox, it's perfect. That team, if Marvel can continue this trend of doing things right, and I have, with me personally, it's a big, gigantic if, but if they can do justice to who the X-Men are, and they can make them as big as what they did with the Avengers, you have a chance right now, Xbox, to hop on this train and get in on it when that finally does happen. And when that reveal finally happens, if everybody's got their shit together and they make the X-Men the way that they should, and it hits home, and all of a sudden everybody once again realizes why back in the day, X-Men were the A team and the Avengers were the B team. Look, you got the potential to make up for all the stuff that you kind of missed. And again, I don't put it on all in Xbox, right? Sony has its movies. That's why they got Spider-Man. They had the perfect team in Insomniac to make a Spider-Man game, which turned it into this gigantic thing. that we see today and kind of gave them the inroads to get the Wolverine license and all that kind of stuff. So it's not on all Xbox. It takes a lot in between there. You can't just sign the deal and instantly say it's gold, because it's not. You got to find the right team, got to have the right people that are passionate about it to make the right game for whatever IP it is, like we just talked about with Black Panther. So that's still all got to get there. But if you're going to do it, jump now. X-Men, you're right, Mav. It would be gigantic.
2025, by the way, was when, if we do see them this saga in now, mutants are a thing now, right? Spoiler alert, whatever, but mutants are a thing now. They've acknowledged it. We also saw Namor in the Black Panther 2 trailer as well, right?
Which why are they not taking this moment to introduce Storm in the Black?
Maybe they're keeping
it
a
a whole other conversation.
Bro.
Maybe.
It's
but
possible.
she would be
a perfect fit for that movie. Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
There's thoughts about because of potential contract obligations with Fox to begin with, and that I saw this as a rumor and on one of our DMs. I can't remember who shared it, but they may have to use the original actors if they were to make a movie now with some of those original characters that were in those other X-Men movies, and they may not want to do that because of. But I don't know.
Which the castings, as we've talked about, oh my god!
Well, not that, but the current castings was not the Halle Berrys and those people for Storm. It was the younger.
Oh,
X-Men.
The younger versions of the kids.
So those are the ones I think are currently under contract, right? Because Halle Berry is probably not under contract anymore for.
Well, no, I can't imagine she would be, but even if you were going to make a movie that was the older X-Men versus the kids, you would still have to use the kid. I mean, they've all grown up now.
I don't know. There was the speculation was that the contract was if you make an X-Men movie, that these actors are contracted to do an X-Men movie, and because Disney had acquired Fox, those contracts may have moved over, and supposedly people are saying those contracts move until 2025. This may be why you've seen acknowledgement of mutants so far without the main characters from X-Men. You've seen things like they made I don't want to spoil that. Don't do it. But also like you see Namor, right? He wasn't in any of those movies or anything like that, right? So they're potentially introducing all this mutant stuff, and then later once this contract is up in 2025 could be right for this phase 6. Maybe you could see that introduction. Maybe that's why they haven't revealed those other movies, but they revealed the Avengers and the Secret War and the Fantastic Four. Potentially, I don't know. That's just a thought. That's a little fun pop segment for you guys. Okay.
Yeah, that's a little fun pop. Well, hopefully I'll still be alive when they finally do get the X-Men introduced, because I'd like to at least see what they do with them. Again, another big wait and see for me moment. If they can get it done right. This is another big
responsibility for them. They can't fuck this up.
Yeah, no, because Pong Soul has got a lot riding on this, so you guys can't fuck it up for him. So which means they will, because whatever, it don't matter. But at the end of the day, I'm excited for that. But to go back to your original point, Matt, yes, absolutely. This would be the moment in time to sign it, to start working on the game, figure out what studio you're going to have working on it, and what type of game it's going to be, and use that IP, because it has now been underutilized. The X-Men are a freaking amazing team of individuals. No matter how, I have, of course, got my personal favorite team mix up, but however you want to mix it up between all the different X-Men teams that have been around, whether you use some of the new, some of the old, whatever the case may be, not the new, don't ever, whatever, the new comics. If you guys go look at some of the new X-Men, we were making fun of those names. Remember that, Mav? The names that came up. Oh my God. It was awful. Strong Man. Look, don't do that. But any mixture of any of the 2000s, like the 2000s, 90s, 80 teams, however you want to mix those teams up, as long as it includes Jean Grey, go buck wild. You can come up with a ridiculous amount of great content for that team. So they've got everything you need. So
I just have a request. Just make sure Gambit is heavily involved, please. I got a picture of my dude right there. You guys can't see it.
Give me Jean Grey. Give Mav Gambit, which I'm cool with. I love Gambit. So give those two have to be in there. Whoever else you mix in there. Well, again, I have my favorites, but those two, you can remove Cyclops. He's worthless. Okay, you can get rid of Cyclops.
You gotta have Cyclops in there for comedy relief, man. We gotta have somebody to make fun of. I know you do. You got to have somebody that Wolverine roughs up from time to time because of the
love triangle.
And I gotta see
three.
like a Civil War type thing, and you bring back Chris Evans, Captain America, and then you have Cyclops, and you have like Cyclops versus Captain America. So I can live out my Marvel versus Capcom 2 dreams and have the voice lines tag. They got to use voice lines back from Marvel versus Capcom 2. Yes, Proton. Oh wait, no, that was Proton Cannon was Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Aaron Hasley.
No, that's
exactly. You need 80s Rogue in there. 100%. 80s Rogue, hands down, the best Rogue. No questions asked. Period. And I would even go so far as 80s Storm as well. Like freaking ridiculously good characters from that. Again, if you had my vote, if I was making decisions, it would be Uncanny X-Men all day, every day. Best team ever, hands down. So that's just me though. I'm an Uncanny guy through and through. And then you could throw in Gambit if you want to, but he was introduced.
So 3-bit with the troll comment,
the slander.
Of the day. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And El Rey Tito. That's why I say Jean Grey, a proper Dark Phoenix. You want to talk about real all powerful characters? That's Phoenix. Dark Phoenix by far. Oh my God.
That's the next saga.
Bring her in.
But what if you made that the next whole saga, the Phoenix saga?
Oh my God.
Dude.
Bro, if you did it right, unlike
this saga is only going until 2025, so we got 3 years left. So you could take it to the
they
Phoenix
bring in Dark Phoenix,
that.
if they bring oh my God, if they had a movie just on Wolverine hunting her down, I'd be all for it. Oh my God. All right, we got to get off the movie stocks. We're going to keep going here with Fun Pop. This is PM in the PM for anybody who's confused. It is not an episode of Fun Pop out of the blue. So, man, we were talking about this a little bit just now with the marketing and that kind of stuff. Look, some stuff popped up today on Twitter. And again, I'm at work, so I'm catching bits and pieces, but it kind of gained some ground. And it all kind of stemmed from a couple different things that happened today. Number one, for anybody who doesn't know, Fat Shark came out today with an announcement of another delay. Last thing we kind of wanted to hear this year, but Warhammer 40K Darktide for the PC is now scheduled to come out on November the 30th. And they said that the Xbox console version, which for people who don't know, Darktide 40K was one of the console exclusives coming to Game Pass for Xbox that kind of was going to kind of carry, or what we thought would kind of carry us through this end of 2022. Because, as we all know, Microsoft doesn't have any first party big games coming out this year. Obviously we got the Horizon DLC, that kind of stuff, but no big real new first party releases. So this was going to be one of those that carried us, but in this announcement, they said PC November 30th and Xbox series consoles to follow shortly thereafter, but no date given. So this kind of got the talk going about that and about, oh God, now really another game potentially moving out of, it could still come out in December, but potentially moving out of 2022 into 2023. Another, again, deal that Microsoft obviously made with Fat Shark to get that exclusivity, finance the game, I believe, at least in partial. This was a big game that Mav and I have been waiting on. This was looking fantastic. Every time they've shown it off, looking better and better. And then on top of that, Mav, Grounded got a release date today in September. I believe September 5th, was it? 9th? 5th, 9th. Grounded actually got an official release date. And on top of that, and we will talk about this, maybe we'll see how far we get here, but Annapurna also had a showcase today that had some new Game Pass announcements in it as well. And while this is going on, Xbox on Twitter is posting American Doll things, like no announcement of the Grounded that I could see on the official Xbox Twitter. No promotion as the Annapurna showcase was going on of the games that were being announced in there coming to Game Pass. A couple of them actually this year and then a couple next year, I believe it was. None of that going on. So we've had this kind of fire started building again. And again, the clown shows on both sides out the way, because again, I've got most of those people muted at this point. So I don't see a lot of that nonsense, but there was some real serious discussion. Clobriel came out with a series of tweets talking about his disappointment. And again, for anybody who doesn't know, Clobriel, great member of this community. He does his on the side out of just the passion that he has for Xbox. He creates some of the best homemade advertising and kind of marketing material and has, pushed it out there. He's done UI updates of what he would like to see the UI look like. Like, he does all of this just out of the straight passion for Xbox. He put out a series of tweets talking about the disappointment that he has that there's no continuity with the marketing, it seems, over at Xbox that you see out of Nintendo, that you see out of Sony. Again, this isn't a dump on Xbox. I know everybody likes to say, well, it's always Xbox criticism. Look, there's some things that, are fair, that you can look at Microsoft and Xbox, even if we are big fans, and say, look, why isn't this a little bit better? You guys are spending all this money, the most money in the industry on your games, by making acquisitions, by all these huge titles that are going to be coming out now in 2023 and beyond. But why aren't you guys promoting your stuff more on Xbox? Again, not every tweet has to be a promotion. You guys are very active in this community, right? You're very active. You guys talk to people, you talk to regular fans, and I'm talking not just Phil, but the main Xbox Twitter page does it, the Game Pass Twitter, your social media managers are fantastic. They interact with the community. But why is your official Xbox Twitter not promoting some of this stuff happening on a day when you got another game delay for your console? Why are you not promoting this ground to get an official release date? Why are you not promoting some of these Annapurna games? Mav, what's your thoughts on all of this? You can take it wherever you want to. It's kind of a mix of bag of a bunch of little stuff kind of coming together today. But they literally had an American Doll tweet today about the Xbox package. There was a special Xbox package. If people remember that, they some reason tweeted that out again today. What's your thoughts on this, man? Take it where you want.
I mean, it's been critical over Microsoft's marketing for a long time. I mean, this goes beyond like Twitter today. You know what I mean? Like, I think that today was weird. It's almost like the social media team had the day off and like they just had some scheduled tweets. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe that was the case, and they just like forgot to do some scheduled tweets and some of this other stuff. I don't know, man.
For Grounded, your first party title, like of all things,
very
right?
Surprising, Like Grounded is, unfortunately, I mean, one of the biggest releases this year for Xbox, and not that it's a bad thing against Grounded. Shout out to Grounded. Like, I'm just saying, like, you would want there to be a bunch of other things, and kind of like a little bit of a disappointing day, in a day that it seems like it should be good news, right? Because you got a couple of Game Pass announcements. Solar Ash was one of them coming to Game Pass, which was a pretty well received game that's been on PlayStation for a while. I can't remember the other games from Annapurna's show that was announced for Game Pass.
Well, there was the Thirsty Suitors, which is also coming. Yep, Thirsty Suitors, which isn't going to be for everybody.
Right.
Weird looking game, but again, adds to the diversity. That's coming to Game Pass. Solar Ash is coming to Game Pass. I believe, what else? Bounty Star, which was the Western
cool.
mech.
That's like a mech
that
game,
looks
right?
really cool. Yeah, Bounty Star, the morose tale of Graveyard Clem for the full title. Obviously, we're just going to shorten it up to Bounty Star. Bounty Star looked fantastic. Set in the Wild West, but with mechs. Looked really cool. That's coming to Game Pass as well in 2023. What else was there? I know there was one.
Annapurna is all about these like subscription deals, because they just did Stray for PlayStation, right? They did what was the other game they did last year that was really popular for Xbox with the guitar,
Oh shoot, what was that, Mav?
I always forget the name of this game like all the time. I don't know why I can't remember the name of this game, but that released on Game Pass day one as well. So they're big on the subscription stuff.
They are. I think Maquette is the other one, I believe, a puzzle game that's coming out from them that's coming to Xbox and Switch this winter. I think is coming to Game Pass too. But then we also had during that Annapurna event as well, Matt, What Remains of Edith Finch getting a current gen upgrade for free, and Outer Wilds also getting an update for current gen for free, and that's both on Xbox and PlayStation. But at the same time, those are things that you throw out there to say, hey guys, look getting this stuff
coming to Game Pass. It could have been a huge exciting, like, so but instead it's like leaving up to people that watch the Annapurna show to deliver this to Xbox fans, right? Which not the casual Xbox audience may not be just watching the Annapurna showcase. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So like,
a lot of people didn't know what's going on. A lot of people forgot
if the Xbox account that has 12 million followers, I think some crazy shit like that actually puts out some tweets regarding this, it's going to get some more attention. Would be good for Annapurna and also for Xbox.
Yeah, one of your partners, obviously.
So I don't know what the misstep was there. That just seems like a mistake. I don't know. I don't. Sometimes people screw up, right? Maybe somebody didn't do their job, or maybe the social media team was like in a vacation team cruise right now. I don't know what's going on, man. But that was kind of weird that we didn't get Xbox kind of posting that stuff. And then you got the other thing with Grounded, which is another awesome news, right? And it was cool. We get another date. I know a lot of people are excited about 1.0. When 1.0
Artful
launches,
Escape. That's what it was.
Yes,
thank you. Yeah, thank you, Chad. I don't know why that slipped my head, but yes, absolutely.
I can never remember the name of that game. I always want to think of like Rock of Ages, but it's not Rock of Ages.
Right.
Like, it's like it's just whenever I think of that game, it
completely opposite.
It's completely opposite. Yes, it absolutely is. But I think that it's just weird to have, like, I'm going to dive back into Grounded 1.0 when it launches, because I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to give this another chance and dive back in to see if I can have some fun with it. I'm not big in a survival genre. I haven't really had a lot of games in the survival genre that clicked for me, but they've been adding so much stuff to this, and it might be worth it for me to dive back in and check it out. I think you could permeate that to the community a little bit more, and you could be like, hey, make it more of a bigger deal, right? You don't have to have it like be the highlight of your E3 showcase, right? But promoting it even on your Xbox account would be probably a good thing. And besides that, though, there's also, I don't know if you want to go and get into Darktide.
I mentioned Darktide, so go right ahead. Jump in.
Did they even mention anything themselves about Darktide? Xbox did not, right?
No, they did not. No, and for everybody who remembers, too, just again, Darktide was already announced for September.
Yeah.
So this was a big delay. It wasn't like a couple week delay. But the big point also that some members of the community, and I kind of agree with them, if you are publishing this game and you've made this an exclusive, right, to the console, whether or not it's timed, we don't know yet. We haven't gotten details from that at all. Some people believe it is. It seems like a little bit more than that here. Some financing maybe with Fat Shark. There was rumors that at one point that Fat Shark was going to be acquired by Xbox. They got a great relationship with Fat Shark, but the fact is that it was announced for PC and for your series consoles for September.
Yeah.
And then Fat Shark comes out today and announces that it's coming out November 30th for PC, but not the series consoles, and gives no date for the series consoles. And I saw some people say, well, look, if this is something that you bought into, that you're, helping Fat Shark with, that this is an console exclusive, should Fat Shark not delay the PC version as well until your series console version is ready? Should that not go hand in hand? Why have them release the PC version and give no date whatsoever for your series console when this is such a big deal, right? I kind of agree. I
think that, like, why wasn't this whole game delayed to when the console version releases, right? Like, that just would make the most sense instead of leaving out half of the community. You know what I mean? Like, but that maybe it's only a few days. Like,
we don't know.
Like they said, shortly after with a specific launch date to come. So maybe it's only a few days, but if it's like not that, and if it's like substantial, like even a month or
January.
2 months or 3 months,
like January or something,
then that like what you would, it makes sense. You should just delay the whole thing. And I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't understand that whole thing. I don't know whose decision that was. You know what I mean? But it seems kind of weird. Xbox just kind of like it's 2022 is such bad luck year for them, man. It's like, my God, like as a Xbox primary gamer, I still love playing on it more than anything. This year has been like one thing after another with just blow
some out of the control, some
after the blow.
Yeah.
Some but was lack of foresight, right? Lack of planning, lack of preparation, issues that's been going on for years that they still are a reason why that pipeline isn't there. We talked about that a little bit. With, you know, maybe they should have kept doing some more third-party exclusive deals, money hatting some games like PlayStation's been, you know what I mean, for timed exclusivity and things like that, just to keep the pipeline going a little bit more. Now they have some partnership stuff like this, which is a little different than that.
Right.
But I feel like this year is just like part of it is out of their control. Like I don't know, like the Starfield and those things, you know, that's technically first party now. You know, it's Bethesda, so you know they need more time, right? And they're giving it, which ultimately is the right decision. Right decision. Absolutely. You can't knock them for the decision. That's why I say most of the problems is lack of foresight to begin with from years ago and having enough stuff for your pipeline. But like the third party stuff again has been I like just between Stalker 2 and what's going on there with the war and that throwing things all over the place. And then now you got this now, which is, you know, just out of the blue. They just announced the release date like a month ago.
Right. That's what's crazy about this. Like, this has happened multiple times, man. Like, we get a launch date, like, and then all of a sudden, a couple months later, it's gone. Again, some of it out of their control, absolutely 100%. And again, it's all spilt milk at the end of the day. And if a dev's got to delay a game, we're all for delaying games. It's just, man, what happened in 2022, bro? We thought we were through. We thought that we got through the pandemic and like, we were like now we were like in the home stretch. Like we knew it wasn't going to be like what 2023 is expected to be, but at the same time, we still had faith that the second half of 2022 was going to be like last year. And yes, the Hot Wheels DLC is fantastic. It's awesome. I've now played it. I did forget to mention that at the beginning of the show. I did play some Hot Wheels DLC too, as well last weekend. Got in there with Steel and
stuff. But they didn't market that enough either.
But that's kind of what we're talking about here. And I think that's what's starting to catch the community a little bit here is like, sometimes they seem really on the ball. Mm-hmm. And then there's obvious stuff to us from the outside. That's like, why are you guys missing this? Right. That's when it go like, it's a head scratcher,
touch, right?
Yeah. It's just like, you guys are so good. You're so active, right? How do you miss like this stuff? Like, again, Annapurna Showcase going on today, like Game Pass announcements, like some of them for this year, some of them games that people have already heard of, like Solar Ash coming after it was exclusive to PlayStation. Like, why aren't you jumping all over that and being like, hey, go check out the Annapurna show. Probably going to be some things in there that you guys will be interested in seeing. Give a little teaser. And then after, as soon as the show's done, be pumping out the video saying Solar Ash, come to Game Pass 2022 winter. Going to be fantastic. People have heard of that game. Are they the biggest games? No, they're indie games. But at the end of the day, it's still more content coming. Like it's in Grounded. You've been doing nothing but praising Grounded. You gave it main stage presence during the Bethesda show, which some people didn't like because we've seen so much Grounded. And now you get an official launch date for the game and you don't even make mention of it. Like, hey, have a prepared video for your Twitter feed saying, announced. Grounded officially launching September 5th or whatever the heck it is. Like, that's kind of a big deal. It's your first party title. It's a big game that started out as a small game. It's turned into something big, something to be proud of. Like, it's just like, I just don't understand. It's like a head scratcher. Like I said, like, how do you guys miss this? Like, this seems obvious. Like, you should be pumping this stuff out.
Yeah.
It's just me. So I don't know.
I don't get it, man. It's weird. I don't know. Like, I mean, this is just like, this isn't, at the end of the day, is it a massive deal? No. Right?
No.
But these are things that, as people that are invested in the community and that really follow the news and stuff like that, it's just glaring weaknesses at times that's kind of like mind-blowing. And you feel like the brand could do better if they didn't shoot themselves in the foot sometimes. right? Or if they didn't get in their own way sometimes. And it's like, these are some of the reasons why it's not as a mainstay as PlayStation, right? Or as this or that. Now, PlayStation has their own faults with some of this stuff too.
Oh, yeah, you know, they've been misfiring a lot lately, for sure. They definitely brought up their misfires for sure. So,
but we talk and criticize PlayStation all the time as well. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just,
and Nintendo.
You want them to do better. Yeah, definitely. You want them to do better, like with this message, with some of the messaging, with being on top of the ball of some of the things, especially your first party stuff. Right. Or your games that you're funding and your partners. Like, the fact that we didn't see anything from, like, I don't think we saw anything from Xbox today regarding Warhammer was pretty surprising. And it was like, why? Like, you should acknowledge that, you know what I mean? Or at least like somebody like come out and say, we apologize for the delay, everybody. We know you're excited for this game. And it's coming, and we'll have more information as soon as we get it. But we wanted to make sure the devs had as much time as they possibly needed to make sure this game was as great as it possibly can be, right? And that could be the messaging from Xbox, and people are like, okay, like that's fine, you know what I mean? But like when you're silent on it, you know, it's like, okay, we'll just take it from the devs' mouths and spread the message for you,
right?
Right? Because how many followers does that Warhammer dev account have compared to Xbox? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, do they even have a million?
They've got 23. They got 23K.
Right. Compared to like 12 million. Right. So I'm just saying, you know, like, I mean, it's just common sense stuff sometimes, just kind of. Right.
Yeah. No, like it's like lingering. It's like lingering from the old Xbox, right? It's like that linger from last gen that's still there, that there's still some kinks that need to be worked out, right? Yeah. There's still some things that just aren't as smooth as they should be, or as predictable as they should be. Like, we should instantly expect when a game announcement happens for Game Pass, if it happens at an Annapurna showcase, if it happens over in some, you know, in some Eastern side of things, let's say a Korean showcase that we've never heard of, but there's a Game Pass announcement, we should be seeing that on the main Xbox feed, like right afterwards. Like, hey, this was just announced, great news. It doesn't matter if it's midday, it doesn't matter if it's late night. It should just be on the Xbox main Twitter feed going out to their community, again, because they are so active here. Like, they have people waiting for things to happen on the Xbox. People get notifications from Xbox when they do tweet something. Like, that's something, because the community is so already programmed to know that Xbox is so transparent. There's always something going on. Phil's saying something like he did the other day when he, you know, Xbox, the main Twitter page did that great kind of list thing, like to get everybody kind of active. And Phil was right on top of it and put it out. And that caused a whole nother stir. For God forbid, Phil said that he's excited for God of War Ragnarok. God forbid Phil be the gamer that he is, that we all love him for. I saw Spaces today, Mav. I saw Spaces today from community members stating, is it okay for Phil to be excited for God of War? Holy shit, man. Look. That stuff, but that's so crazy. It's so insane to me, brother. I could not believe it this morning. My mouth dropped open. I was like, are you kidding me? But anyways, what I'm saying is that people wait for that stuff because they're so active in this community, that it is the perfect community that you put out this marketing stuff consistently to us. And we're going to spread the word even further outside of even your 12 million, because there's people that don't see that we see, you know, that people see our stuff, or that other people in the community tweet out. Like, that's how it works. And it's just sometimes, like I said, when they miss these moments, it's a head scratcher. It's like crazy. As far as the Darktide goes, again, take all the time you need, Fat Shark. I get it. I understand. It is surprising because we just got that September date. It's really, again, I'm at the point now, Mav, where I'm not even going to look at release dates anymore.
I know. Unless it's like 2 weeks before the game comes out, it doesn't exist to me.
Right. I still want to see stuff. I'm that guy that wants to see stuff 5 years down the road. I don't care. But until we're there, until we're like days before, a week before, and we know it's locked in, I'm not even going to care about the release dates anymore. I don't give a shit. Like, it's just like, this is done to me. What's a release date anymore? It doesn't mean anything. And that's cool. Again, I'm not complaining. Devs, take all the time you need. I want the best games possible, but it is another hit.
Yeah.
Again, if it doesn't show up, and it could, we could get a date next week that says December, the 10th or whatever. I'm just picking a date out of thin air for the series consoles, and it's no big deal, right? Whatever. We still get it this year. But the fact that another game got moved, it really is like, God, man, 2022 just fell
it's cursed
apart.
for first party or big
completely.
releases. So we got still High on Life, Scorn.
Yeah.
And
again,
Pentiment.
Again, these are all Pentiment. Yep.
And
what else?
Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head what else.
Maybe Atomic Heart is still on track.
Heart,
they say Atomic Heart is still on track.
I have a feeling. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. So also just for an update, I see that a little while before Pong and I went live, Xbox quote tweeted Grounded's account.
Quote tweeted.
Yeah, they quote tweeted Grounded's account, and that says version 1.0 on September 27th. For a game about being small, this seems like really big news. And so they took them about 9 hours to share that information from Grounded after Grounded did themselves. I don't know why exactly, but it seems like that would have been a pretty big announcement from Xbox, But anyway, it is what it is. All right, so I guess, maybe Xbox is so hands off with the devs now. They're just letting them handle their own marketing.
Oh, Plague's Tale. Thank you, Wilfrey. Yeah, Plague's Tale too.
Yeah, Plague Tale.
Yep. Plague Tale. Yep. Absolutely.
So maybe Xbox
Somerville supposedly mass hole, but we haven't heard anything from Somerville either. I don't know, sometimes, like I said, anymore until it's like a week before. I'm not, whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll see what comes.
This Darktide one was really surprising. I'm not upset about it. I mean, but it's weird that we got a new PC release date without a new console release date.
Yep, that is the weird point.
Why would they just wait to announce that until they had the console release date?
Both dates,
because it's not.
That's why I'm.
It's not until November anyway. November 30th, right?
30th, right?
So
December,
you have up until at least a month from now, or even longer before you even have to announce this delay. Right. So just tell us the freaking wait to
that's
tell
what
us
has me thinking 2023 for consoles.
Yeah, they didn't want to say that. Yeah,
they don't want to put the 2023 number in there, but I'm afraid that's what's exactly going to happen here.
Yeah.
But we'll wait and see. Again, is what it is. It's spilt milk to me. I'm happy for me. I feel bad for all the people that only seem to love first party titles and big home runs. And I feel bad for everybody out there that's going to have a dry 2022 again. If that's the type of game you are, that's the type of game you are. I'm just happy that I am the grazer I am and that I like things like RimWorld and stuff, because even with all these delays and moves and all this kind of stuff, my second half is absolutely jam-packed. Like I said, I had to make a list for my budget over the next 6 months or 5 months and see what it was going to look like. And man, I got a lot of games to play, and that wasn't including Persona Royale dropping into Game Pass, right? So I am overloaded with games, but that's just because of the type of gamer I am. Mm-hmm. But for anybody out there looking for those ones, totally understand why you guys think it's a desert right now. I get it. It's tough. It's tough, but I'm a happy camper. I got plenty. So math, we are 2.5 hours in, brother. I think we've covered all the major stuff. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about or that you saw that we should talk about?
That I can think of. I mean, ultimately, some more positive news today regarding Xbox and negative. It's just because Xbox didn't come out and handle it the right way. It turned into a negative. But the Game Pass is great stuff. More Game Pass announcements. You got, you got Grounded getting their official release date as well. Stuff like that. So it's awesome news. One thing, Pong. PlayStation Plus lineup for August is absolutely insane, dude. That is the best lineup I think I've seen.
You're right.
Point blank period ever for Xbox Live games with Gold PS Plus. You got Yakuza Like a Dragon. You got Tony Hawk remake 1 and 2, right?
Yep.
And then what was the third one? The third one was a really good one too.
Oh shoot. Let me God damn it. What was that?
I'm Googling it right now. I remember the third one.
Google right now. The only thing I will say about the Yakuza stuff though, Mav, they split it up amongst all the tiers. Did you see that?
Well,
so they're getting the whole collection, but you only get bits and pieces depending on what tier you're in.
I was talking about like a dragon.
Like a dragon, right. But did you see they also announced that? But did you see that they're also bringing all the Yakuzas in, just like GameCast did? Yes, they are also bringing in all the Yakuzas. However, if you don't have the premiums, you don't get 4 and 5. And if you've got, they broke it up amongst all 3 tiers.
That's not what premium was supposed to be. Premium was supposed
to be. Premium, you get everything. But I'm saying if you've got one of the lesser ones, you get part of the whole Yakuza series, but not all of them.
Yeah, but for me, like premium was supposed to be more about the PS1 and PS2 and the games and the PS3 stuff.
Yeah, they're using some third-party stuff to push it. Yep.
So they're separating Yakuzas between extra and premium.
Yes.
Because all those Yakuzas are, I mean, they're all like Xbox One, PS4 era, right?
PS4.
Yeah.
Yep, correct.
Man, that's I don't know. I could see like if it was PS3 stuff because like the PS3 cloud streaming is only on the premium, right? But yeah, that's weird, dude. I gotta look at that because that doesn't make sense. That's not what they had advertised. But yeah, Like a Dragon, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, and Little Nightmares. So 3 stellar games actually hitting PS Plus for the month of August. So really impressed with that. So I'm gonna look up this Yakuza thing, man, because that's like crazy.
Hold on. Let me bring it up again. Let me see how they did this, because this was again in the middle of my busy work week here, so I only caught parts and bits and pieces of it here. So let me see.
It will offer 8 Yakuza games this year. Yep. Okay, it says. Subscribers in all 3 tiers will be able to snag Yakuza Like a Dragon, right? Because that's just PS Plus. At least for now, Yakuza Like a Dragon will be the only Yakuza game that will hit the Essential tier. Yakuza, which makes sense because Essential is just PS Plus, right? Yakuza 0, Kiwami, and 2 will join the extra and premium versions later this year. Yakuza 3 remastered, Yakuza 4 remastered, and Yakuza 5 remastered will land on the premium tier. So the 3 remastered, 4 remastered, and 5 remastered will not be on extra?
Yes. You're right. Right.
What?
Right.
That's not what they had advertised at all about the way that the PS Plus thing was supposed to go.
Correct.
The extra was supposed to have all of that, the third party and the first party stuff, and then premium was supposed to be like some back compat shit. And then
that's what I had seen. So that's what I was giving me like.
I wonder how accurate that is for that article. I don't know. Maybe if that's but those are remasters. So that's probably not PS3 games.
No, those are PS4 games.
So, okay. I don't know.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me go to the official blog post here. Hold on. Did you go to the official blog post?
No.
Let me read the official blog post. This will get it. Okay. Let's read this. Okay. So this is from Sony. So again, we try to give accurate information here. So again, I just seen this. So, okay. So the acclaimed Yakuza series incorporating Kazuma Kira saga and latest entry Yakuza Like a Dragon are coming to PlayStation Plus in 2022. Anyone who's been intrigued by Sega's long-running series will be able to experience its signature of mix of crunchy combat, explorable districts, mini games, and fascinating storylines starting next month. Yakuza Like a Dragon joins PlayStation Plus monthly games lineup in August. PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium members can begin Kazuma's epic journey through the criminal underworld with Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, and Yakuza Kiwami 2 when the titles launch as part of the August game catalog lineup. Then later this year, for Extra and Premium members, Kairu's story continues with Yakuza 3 Remastered, Yakuza 4, Yakuza 5 Remastered, and Yakuza 6 Song of Life. So it does say on the official blog post that Extra will also get those games just later this year along with Premium. So there we go.
Yeah, but it does also say that
but yeah, wait.
Yeah, on. So it says, just trying to read this.
Yeah, because yeah, PlayStation Extra and Premium. Yeah, no, coming later this year. Even on their official blog post,
Yakuza 4 remastered, Yakuza 3 remastered, Yakuza 5 remastered, and Yakuza 6. The song. Oh, wait, no, Yakuza 6 is coming to Extra, but 5, 4, and 3 remastered
are only showing as premium.
Only showing as premium.
What?
That is bullshit.
Bro, that's on the official. That's on the PlayStation blog post, people. So this is why the confusion. This is why I saw all this going on. Yeah, no, 3, 4, and 5 are only listed on premium on their official blog post. 6 is on Extra.
Why
and premium.
the fuck you separating those out? I don't understand. Like that is complete and utter trash, dude. Because that is not what they advertised as what the tiers were going to be. When they set it up, the tiers are supposed to be. These are remasters, so these are not the original PS2 games. These are PS4 games, right? So like they should be in the PS4 tier, which is Extra, right?
And this was posted July 27th, so yesterday. So they've had a whole day to correct this. I don't know, man. It's always showing premium. So yeah.
Yeah.
For
three of those
3, 4,
Yakuza games are on the.
Yeah.
That's like making you subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate for certain games.
Right.
Like in your own tier. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. That's straight garbage, dude. I'm like, I don't know. That's trash because that's not what you advertised. That's just like, well, everything you laid out. It shows to say that they don't know what the hell they're doing with their subscription service yet. And they're still trying to figure stuff out. They're like, okay, well, how do we add value to the premium? Because my complaint, remember, Pong, was that like premium doesn't really have a lot of value right now because the back compat stuff they did for premium versus Extra is pretty much like not very good, right?
PSP games.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not very good. The games don't control well. They don't handle well. They're not really updated or anything like that. So it's like it is kind of what it is, right? And the PS3 stuff with the cloud, I mean, who's utilizing that much, right? So the Extra tier is where it's at, or at least that's what I've been saying, because that's you get all the games, all the newer games, all the PS4 games, all that stuff is in the Extra tier, right? So that's supposed to be like your Game Pass equivalent or whatever, right? But now it seems like they realize premium sucks so much that they're separating stuff out of Extra and putting it in premium just to separate that. And they're using the fact that they originally were PS2 games potentially to
I
get
guess
around
maybe
that.
Separated.
But even though it's
crazy.
a remaster on PS4, like I don't know, dude, that's straight garbage. I don't like that. That's PlayStation, do better.
Yeah, do better. But like you said, the Plus lineup for this month is pretty spectacular with Tony Hawk's. And obviously, even Little Nightmares getting thrown in there. I mean, it's an older game, but still to have that in there, that's really cool. And then Like a Dragon, I love Like a Dragon. So
I see Gogo Post saying that that game that's just average. We're not comparing PS Plus to Game Pass. We're talking about Tony Hawk Pro Skater. We're talking about Little Nightmares and Yakuza Like a Dragon. We're comparing that to games with gold, right? Like,
and I don't even like to do that, but whatever.
Like as PS Plus free games, like you're not subscribed to the subscription, right? You're just on like Xbox Live Gold equivalent, right? With PS Plus, you get free games every month. Like you get free games every month with games with gold, which Xbox's games with gold have been going downhill majorly in this past 2 years. Like it's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. There's a couple little gems here and there, but
there's some gems.
But
for the most part, that's why I don't even like to. I don't even like to compare it because the investment that Microsoft is putting into Game Pass is so much more.
It, right? Yeah, Game Pass.
That's where the money's going.
Right, 100%. Yeah, Game Pass is where it's at on Xbox. Right, if you're waiting for your games with gold games, it's not worth it. What I was trying to point out is like PlayStation is dropping some good PS Plus free games, that this is the best lineup I've even seen from them. I believe all in one. Right? Remember what they said they're removing I thought actually Xbox is removing 360 games from games with gold.
Yes, they don't have any more they can give supposedly. So
as far as the Xbox goes, that is what it is. But like for the PS Plus games, like to get the Tony Hawk game's great.
Yeah.
The Yakuza Like a Dragon is great. And also Little Nightmares. A lot of people say that game's absolutely fantastic. Haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to now. So
Little Nightmares is cool.
Comparing it to games with gold is that's like such a huge like gap right there next month.
They had a chance to this month, Mav. You saw the games of gold, right? The announcement today.
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
You didn't? Oh yeah, they announced the games of gold, and they're giving us Saints Row 2, which is great. Saints Row 2 is amazing on 360, right? But why not the remastered 4, right? Why not give us the remaster? It's always on sale for $10.
Yeah.
Why not give us that? I mean, I know why they're giving us Saints Row 2 is because Saints Row game is coming, right? The new one. So they're hyping it. So why not throw the remastered in there? You just throw the remastered in there as just a last, even if you're going to eventually get rid of gold, whatever you're going to do, eventually it's going to dwindle down to nothing. Just throw that in there. You give us the remastered. Yeah. Again, it's always on sale for $10. Just do it. They had a missed opportunity there.
Yeah, but gold is outdated now. It's like not even a thing in my mind. It's like even saying games with gold is like weird to me. It's like
I just grab them. I just grab them to grab them. There's a gem here and there that come through that are great.
I got like 150 games with gold like in my library. Yeah. Right.
I got more than that, I think.
I went a little period where I forgot to check them and stuff, but for the most part, I do the same thing. I get them whether I plan on playing them or not, because I know I'm going to stay subscribed to the service, right?
But if you don't have Saints Row 2 for 360, go grab it this month. It's coming. So great game.
My
still
favorite
to this day.
Saints Row, personally.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Love Saints Row 2. Fantastic game. So that was interesting. Hey, shout out to N64 Josh, brother. Great to see you jumping in here. Skate Lights, great to see you jumping in here as well as everybody else who's still hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate every single one of you. Jigga J, brother, I saw you jumping in here earlier as well. Even if you got to jump in late, man, we appreciate it. Boba Fett Gaming, great to see you, brother. Focus Active, always jumping in here as well. All of you, we appreciate you. And if you listen to us in the future, we love you. No matter what. Again, maybe you didn't hear the beginning of the show. Mav had a little spiel. Listen, whenever you come in, if you're checking us out for 5 minutes, checking us out for 5 hours, it don't matter. We love you all the same. And we appreciate all of you spending any time with us. But yeah, Mav, this flew by, brother.
Yeah. Fast show.
Crazy night,
40
man.
Minutes,
crazy. Solid. Just talking nonstop about stuff, man. Love this, man. Like I said, I needed this after a long week, and it continues tomorrow. But man, it's great to get a break tonight and talk with you because we haven't at all. So, Mav, I think it's time. Let's get everybody out of here, huh?
Yeah.
So, appreciate you all for dropping in on PM in the PM. This was episode 35 with Pong and Mav in the PM. Of course, it was July the 28th. Again, happy birthday, brother Steel Rain, and my dad. But he won't hear this. Yeah. But anyways,
happy birthday, Pong's dad.
He's back down in Florida. He's happy. He was up here in Minnesota for 2.5 months because they got a place up here, then come visit family and stuff. He's back down in Florida. I called him today. Totally different guy. He's so happy to be back down there as a lifer in Minnesota who left, I don't know, like 9 years ago. He went to Texas and then now they're living in Florida. Mm-hmm. Man, he's Florida. No longer a Minnesota guy. He's all about it, man. Call him. He was getting some rays on the boat somewhere. So I was like, he was just happy.
What's up, son? I'm just living the life on the boat.
Yep. Back with all of his buddies again, and all that kind of stuff. So he's living the life down there. But shout out to everybody for joining us tonight. It was a great conversation. Hope you all enjoyed it. And obviously, Mav, tell everybody what you got going on, including Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night. Of course, right back here again, brother. What's going down?
Yeah, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, everybody. Check out Xbox Ultimate Podcast. We'll have lots of fun discussions. We'll have to talk about Darktide again. But also, we'll talk about a lot of other fun stuff coming to Xbox as well. So tune in tomorrow. We're going to have a blast for episode number 99. Yes, episode number 99. tomorrow night on this channel, and then coming back to you Monday on FSP Fun Speculation Podcast. Again, sorry we weren't able to do it this week. I just was not feeling very well, but this Monday will be a blast. We'll get everybody back together again and have some fun discussions, and we'll have some tidbits, and we'll talk about the games actually releasing as well, on FSP, and then just random games coming throughout the week, gameplay streams and more, and then back here next Thursday for PM in the PM as well, guys. So appreciate all of you again, 100%. Now, Pong Soul, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Absolutely, of course. Again, thanks, Matt, for everything you do behind the scenes, brother. Glad we could get together tonight. It was a great show. And thank you all again, chat. Without you, we are nothing but love and respect for each and every single one of you. You guys know that. I say it every week on almost every show that I do because I mean it. Thank you for being here. Pong Soul, Xbox, Pong Soul on Twitter, almost ready to hit 3,000 followers on Twitter. It's freaking insane. But appreciate every one of you. Follow me, I'll follow you back. And then, of course, tomorrow night, I will be making my regular appearance on Xbox Ultimate. Don't know what time. Depends what time I get out of work. Hopefully, I will be there on time again this week. We had a great show last week, Brother Mike. It had been too long. So if you want to go see Brother Mike get roasted, go check out last week's Xbox Ultimate. That's basically what it turned into for the entire show. He was a good sport about it. He knows we love him, but it was an awesome time. And it's always a great time every Friday night. So be there. Saturday morning, living split screen. That's right. My brother from another, Steel Rain, Mr. 30 now. 30 years old. God, he's getting old. I love it. He's catching up. We will be waking you up Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. UK time, BST time, whatever it may be. Spread the word, please. I will be doing my weekly video tomorrow that you can pass around. And of course, be ready. Get your alarm set, because we are going to be live, raw, and uncut, as Steele likes to say, Saturday morning for you. We're going to have a lot to talk about. And then Saturday night, the Shop podcast with PTK Blam. Got to check it out. Saturday night's the place to be over there. PTK is just a pro, man. We've been doing this now together for a while and just absolutely love it. Myself, PTK, Fuzzy, and this week we got the one and only Dirt Griggity is going to be joining us on the Shop podcast. So it is going to be a lively Saturday night. Be there 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. And then back at it, I am going to try to be there Tuesday for Xbox Factor this week. Hopefully, Mav can be there. Hopefully, Archimedes can be there. Boxenberger, because I haven't spoken with Boxenberger. He hit me up in the DMs. He's like, man, it's been a while. Miss you, friend. We got to get together and do that. So I'm going to try to be there for Tuesday's Xbox Factor podcast over on Double Barrel Gaming, Mr. Boom 6 channel. Of course, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time, Tuesdays. Be there. It's going to be good things green every Tuesday. And then, of course, back at it Thursday night, PM in the PM, God willing. Mav and I will be doing this again. We love you all. Thank you all for joining us. It's a golden age of gaming. Again, talk about all these misses, talk about these games being delayed, and yet I have more games than I know what to do with right now. It's crazy. Get out there, enjoy them, play what you love what you play, and I'm going to be talking to you all real soon. Mav, get us out of here, brother.
Yes, sir. Hey, chat, you rock. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks so much. Bye.